to 6. It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eliza Boy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
What's happening, good people of Memphis and beyond? We welcome you into Sports 56 mornings as we wrap up another work week. Today, the Friday, January 24th, 2025 edition of Sports 56 mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Elijah Seegers with you. We're broadcasting live as we do each and every day from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, they're located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The floor model sale continues. Perhaps this weekend is a good chance for you guys to check out Family Leisure if you haven't been there. You get right now the best deals on everything that's still on the floor from 2024. They have to make room for 2025. So, pool tables, arcades, ping pong tables, air hockey, foosball, cold plunges, hot tubs, theater seating is up to 75% off. But all floor models up to 50% off at Family Leisure. Again, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 24 degrees. It will get up to 39 today. That's it. Sunshine. Pretty nice day, at least as far as the sun is shining, but the weather's still quite cold. It does warm up tomorrow. 54 for your high, 40 for your overnight low, mostly sunshine, and then Sunday looks to be a cloudy day with a high of 47 degrees. I'm looking way ahead at the forecast in front of me, and it looks like sometime next week, probably midweek, we may reach 60 or 61 degrees. So the warmer weather, not too far from now. Then again, may get warm, get cold again. That's just the way it goes. Coming up on the program today, the Tigers slip by, and I mean slip by, Wichita State last night, 61-53, and now have their sights set on UAB Sunday at FedEx Forum. We will talk about that game and that dub last night for the Tigers. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win. The Grizzlies basketball palooza continues. Another couple of games at FedEx Forum tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans and against the Utah Jazz tomorrow night. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about an unbelievable night for Nikola Jokic, the best player on the planet, as Denver got another win. The All-Star starters were announced for the NBA All-Star game. We will discuss that. Looks like another head coaching vacancy has been filled in the National Football League. We'll preview the conference championship games this Sunday with the Eagles playing host to the Commanders in the NFC, the Chiefs hosting the Bills in the AFC. John Varlas will join us, as he does every Friday at 7:25, talk some preps. At 8:05, the head coach of the Memphis Showboats, Ken Wisenhunt, former NFL head coach. Matt Dillon with the Tiger Basketball Report. That'll be coming up at 8:25. We'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation at 9:05. And then at 9:25, Brandon Lang will handicap this Sunday's big NFL games, which will obviously set up the Super Bowl for a couple of weeks from Sunday. That's your lineup for today. You can hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255 by calling in or texting in. There you go. That's the lineup for the next 3 hours. How are you?
I'm surviving.
You're not feeling too well, are you?
I am not. It's been a struggle last couple days.
You very rarely get sick.
I do not.
Well, hopefully you're okay. You taking anything for it?
I've taken a lot of stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yesterday I lost my voice, so I'm just happy to have a voice today.
Well, good thing you didn't have a hustle game.
Oh, gosh, believe me, I was very happy that they were not playing this week.
Yeah. Well,
at home anyway.
Hopefully you start to feel better this weekend, be 100% on Monday. But you're a trooper, as you and I both are. I mean, I'll miss a couple of days every once in a while for illnesses, not too many. You never miss days. So, that's the one thing. You can count on us. We may be your favorite show. We may not be your favorite show, but we're consistent. We're here often, and we're here together. So, and we've been doing it for 20 years. So there's that. Last night, the Memphis Tigers got by Wichita State 61-53 in what can only be looked back as one of the, at least first half, ugliest 20 minutes of basketball you'll ever see. It was awful. And I know the Tigers played a pretty bad game in Philly, and they did so for 40 minutes. This wasn't that case because in the second half, the Tigers played much better. Down the stretch, I thought they played really good defense. I thought they communicated well, they switched well, they helped, and they forced some Wichita State turnovers. They also made some shots down the stretch. P.J. Haggerty doing what he does best, scoring the basketball, and the Tigers get a hard-fought win. 15-4 now, 5-1 in the conference. Penny Hardaway calls it, separation week in the American Conference. So that's one down with one to go, and we'll talk about UAB in just a moment. But I don't get it. If you were there, you saw it. If you watched it, you saw it. And you also heard those announcers, John Crispin, friend of the show, talk about it. We have talked about it ad nauseum this season. It just boggles the mind how many possessions the Tigers waste by turning the ball over. They started out by turning the ball over 5 times in the first 7 minutes of the game. They ended up the first half with 14 turnovers and 2 assists. That is putrid. That is awful. They ended up the game with 20 turnovers, which is horrendous. However, they were able to force 22 turnovers, and that probably was the difference in a win or a loss. If Wichita State did a better job in protecting the basketball, they may have came away with a dub. But again, the Tigers in the second half, especially the last 8 minutes of that game, found their groove, played much better on both ends, and escaped with the W.
Yeah, it was ugly, that first half. Because again, it's not anything really the defense is even doing.
Right.
It's just sloppy ball handling, making bad decisions, passes that aren't even close to guys. It just, I mean, it's just like frustrating to watch because it's just simple stuff. UAB, or not UAB, Wichita State, one thing they don't talked about yesterday, they don't turn the ball over much, but they also didn't force many turnovers. This ends up being the exact opposite of that, as the Tigers turn it over a bunch, but also are able to get them to turn it over a bunch. But, Dane Danger, you just can't have a big that turns it over as much as he does. Like, he gets going too fast. I don't know what it is, but, I mean, he's got 5 turnovers. That's just inexcusable from a guy who's just not going to have the ball in his hands that much to be able to turn it over 5 times.
They're also trying to jam it into Musa Cisse, and that's probably not the smartest thing to do. And I know Musa's bigger than most of the guys out there on the court, but normally there's a deflection or he bobbles it. Just I don't get it. I really don't understand because, as you said, this isn't a team or teams in the past this season that is pressing Memphis. That's forcing them every once in a while to throw a bad pass. This is just simple half-court offense or transition basketball, whether in the half-court, whether they're running up and down the court in transition, that they're just lackadaisical. They're lazy with their passes. They make bad decisions. And you have a veteran guard in Tyrese Hunter who should be better. You have P.J. Haggerty, and I understand he's only a sophomore, and he's going to turn the ball over a few times because he will drive to the hole, and teams are geared up to try to stop him. So there'll be 2 or 3 guys that will converge in the paint, and sometimes they'll strip him of the ball or get him in trouble where he makes a bad pass. So you look at the turnovers, and you got 5 for P.J. Haggerty. As you mentioned, Dane Danger at 5, Tyrese Hunter at 3. So Haggerty and Hunter combine for 8 turnovers. You cannot have that. It's not sustainable against good teams. And yet, throughout the season, they've beaten the bulk of the good teams on their schedule. It's just amazing the mindset, how it changes when they play a better team. And it's going to happen on Sunday. While UAB is not Auburn, UAB is a capable team of running you out of your own gym if you turn the ball over 20 times. Then you look at offensively, Colby Rogers maybe too pumped up for this one, going up against his former team. He struggled, 1 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. He is the wild card. They need a 9 to 12 point performance from Colby Rogers, and they've seen that this season when he has picked up his game to go along with Haggerty and Hunter. Haggerty, Hunter, each played well over 36 minutes, 36 minutes and change, so both around 36 and a half minutes. And Rogers played about 35 minutes. So Penny talks about it, trying to get these guys rest, but unless you're putting teams away, you're not able to rest these guys. Haggerty ends up going 8 for 11 from the field, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, did have the 5 turnovers, had 4 steals. Haggerty being Haggerty. Hunter hit a couple of big threes, but was only 2 of 7 from the three-point stripe. He was 6 of 14. He ends up with 16. But you really didn't get much at all from anybody else. P.J. Carter actually helped out the cause, played near just about 18 minutes off the bench, had 7 points, and those points were very, very important. But this was not a big team they faced. In fact, actually a smaller team than Memphis, the only team that's smaller than them in the conference. Not a great three-point shooting team, yet they took Memphis down to the wire at FedEx Forum. I know the atmosphere was kind of, wasn't a big crowd. Sunday has to be different for Memphis because if they come out like this, they will lose the game. Penny, after the game, sounded the alarm on his concern meter when it comes to Memphis and the turnover issue. He said it's just getting embarrassing right now, just being so casual with the basketball. It's a concern now. Look, it was building up to this point. We've all seen it. He's seen it.
It should have been a concern a long time ago.
Right.
I mean, it has been. It's been all season long. I mean, again, they're one of the worst teams in America at turning over the basketball. This wasn't something new. This is something we've watched all year long. They're now 330th in the nation in turnover percentage.
They trailed for more than 23 minutes in this game, Memphis did, and won. As I mentioned, they had 20 turnovers, 6 assists. That's a horrible assist-to-turnover ratio. Still won the game. So again, down the stretch, give them credit, made the play, stepped up defensively. It shouldn't come to this point. 5th straight game that really they've underperformed against an inferior American Conference opponent. The only game so far in conference play that they did what you expected them to do was Florida Atlantic. Is there something to that? Think about it. While Florida Atlantic is not the Florida Atlantic of the past few years, mentally you get into a different mindset to play a team like that. And even though the roster has changed for both teams, Memphis knows that FAU knocked them out of the tournament the one year and all. So they go in there with a different mindset. First game in conference play, so they're coming off the big non-conference schedule, and they go in there and they bury that team. Then they fall back into that trap of just thinking they can step onto the court and beat any of these teams. And the struggles with East Carolina, tough game against North Texas that really dictated pace, the loss at Temple, this game against Wichita State. Sunday, they're going to go up against a team that has an NBA caliber big and has a physical team. That's the way Andy Kennedy's teams are. Let's see if Memphis, because they've done it all year long, steps up to play that type of an opponent. Don't look at the record. Don't look at some of the results where UAB melted down for whatever reason. They're playing better basketball. This is, in my opinion, and the opinion of many, I'm sure, the stiffest competition they'll have in conference. It's the first of 2 meetings. They'll play a return game in Birmingham. But will they be in that mindset as, oh, this is Ole Miss. This is Michigan State. This is UConn. This is Auburn. This is who we're playing here when we play UAB. That, I think, is a problem. It's easier said than done to get up for every one of these games. And I'm not saying they weren't ready to go for Wichita State, but if you watch what they did in that first half, you would think they weren't.
Well, UAB is, as far as the turnover situation, they do not turn the ball. They don't force turnovers. They don't turn the ball over, which is what the same thing was with Wichita State, which obviously didn't play out the way. The big concern that you'll have with UAB is, with no surprise, with the Axel Lindenberg, they are a great offensive rebounding team. They are 8th in the country in offensive rebound percentage. That has obviously been another problem for the Tigers in giving up offensive rebounds. You know, they gave up 12 last night to a small team. They've struggled defensively, UAB has, but in conference play, they have been much better defensively. The numbers are better defensively. They are the number one offensive efficiency team in conference play. They've been about 5 points better in conference play than overall. So they've just been better overall, both offensively and defensively, once they've gotten into American Athletic Conference play.
In this game last night, P.J. Haggerty went to the locker room with about 5 minutes to play. He got hit in the mouth and was bleeding, and they took care of that. He came back into the game. They needed him, so certainly hats off to P.J. Haggerty for being as tough as he is. And they will need him big time once again on Sunday. I mean, it goes without saying they'll need him big time for every single game they play, as they are dependent upon his offense. Sunday, it was announced yesterday by the Tigers that they will have a retro game. So it'll be the only time this year, that's the plan right now, to be wearing the old Memphis State throwbacks and doing things to that of that nature as far as this retro game. It's a stripe-out game. It's funny because there's always the conversation about other teams. It's always their Super Bowl, and there's the whiteout here, and then they face the whiteout there. And now Memphis is doing a stripe-out because they know the importance of this game. This is the team that was picked to win the conference. Memphis was not. UAB was. So they're going to do all that. They're going to pull out all the stops and, again, salute the rich heritage and tradition of then Memphis State. Noon tip-off on Sunday. Penny said of UAB, it's going to be a dogfight. We have to come out swinging. Promises there will be less turnovers. One thing about Penny this year, he hasn't said a lot of things. He hasn't made a lot of promises. But when he has, he's backed it up. His team has backed it up. I think the most noted one to me was when he came out after that Mississippi State game and said, we will be much better against Ole Miss. We'll be ready. And they went out and they beat Ole Miss by, 17? So he has followed through with things he said. He says there'll be less turnovers. Well, I'll be interested to see how at this point in the season you can change that. How can you change a player?
When you're starting from 20, that's easy.
Yeah, we got 19.
I mean,
I lived up to my promise. No, in seriousness, how do you?
And it would be fewer, by the way.
Fewer, yeah. How do you have a mindset for these guards, but for the bigs as well, to treasure that basketball more, each possession, value it? How do you instill that into the brains of these players when it's been evident all year long that they're sloppy with the basketball? Can you turn it off just like that?
Drew texts in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. He says, Memphis might be the worst fast break team in the country, constantly turning it over when having 2-on-1 or 3-on-1. Yeah, they do not. They run some really bad breaks. Last night, they actually, like the
2-on-1 late when he threw it just straight up and the guy just jumped.
Well, the one, Hunter got lucky. He tried the lob to Cisse that was horrendous and it hit the backboard and bounced to Cisse. And then you had the one where Haggerty wouldn't give it up and then ended up.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Whatever he did with that,
it's Haggerty and Hunter, right? And then he drives, and then the defender, just backs up toward Hunter, and then he tries to lob it over the guy, and the guy just jumps up.
Yeah, they do run some really poor breaks at times. Raider Corey says Tigers only have two consistent players. That's Haggerty and Hunter. End of discussion. They have no offense nor offensive sets or plays. So don't be surprised if there's another early exit in both postseason tournaments.
Ouch.
Reggie says Penny keeps talking about the lazy pass and turnover problems, but doesn't seem to do anything about it. The game turned around when they played the two bigs together. They should do more of that.
Well, I haven't had a chance to read Parth's story from the Daily Memphian, but I'm reading the headline here. He says, Penny Hardaway called Memphis' turnover problem embarrassing after the Tigers eke out a win last night. But more than halfway into the regular season, Hardaway feels he knows of a solution. Quote, it's right on time. I'll be curious to read that, what he had to say.
Well, it was in the post-game radio interview.
What did he say?
He said, basically said that it's got to just be Hunter and Haggerty handling the basketball.
Yes.
Nobody else.
Yes. How many times do you see Jourdain try to dribble it up the court? Or, again, Jourdain has the ball or Danger has the ball. They try to do too much with it. Get it to your guards. Be a little more deliberate in your half court. Have the right guy with the basketball or right guys with the basketball. No question about it. No question about it.
He said the Tigers offense would need to primarily run through Haggerty and Hunter, few others handling the ball and making decisions.
Absolutely. All right, a couple of other things before we take our first time out. John Varlas on the other side will join us. Grizzlies tonight in action. They'll take on the Pelicans. The Pelicans will not. Hey, how about this? Tell me if you've heard this before. Zion Williamson will not play tonight. That's a rarity, isn't it, nowadays? Brandon Ingram also will not play. How many times has Zion Williamson actually played against the Grizzlies in his career? It just seems like he's out every single game. Pelicans are 12-32. Grizzlies are 29-15. This is very similar to Wednesday. This is a team, the Pelicans, that is struggling, and the Grizzlies should drill this team. They should drill this team tonight. They should drill the team tomorrow night. They're playing another struggling team in the Utah Jazz. It will be interesting to see who is available for the Grizzlies. I cannot believe that you're going to see Ja play back-to-back. And again, it would be 3 and 4 days because after Sunday, they will play the Knicks on Monday in New York, so they travel to New York City. Last night in the NBA, Denver beat Sacramento 132-123. I'm sorry. You can text in and tell me there's somebody better in the NBA, but you'd be wrong. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA, the best player on planet Earth. Maybe there's somebody on Mars that's better. 35 points, 22 rebounds, 17 assists last night. And it's his fifth straight triple-double.
He is he's almost average. He might be even averaging a triple-double now with that with those numbers last night because I think he was at 9.9 assists, if I'm not mistaken. He is a machine.
I mean, absolutely dominant. And then he had that three-quarter court heave, that one-handed throw. He just chucked it down, makes it, of course. Jokic will be one of the starters. It was announced yesterday for the All-Star game. Western Conference starter. It's Jokic, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, Steph Curry. You can argue that maybe KD and Steph Curry don't belong on the team, don't belong to be starters, don't belong as starters, but they're going to get the votes. 50% fan vote, 25% fellow players, and 25% media. The East, Giannis, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, so that's 2 Knicks, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Any issues?
No, I mean, there's not really much surprise there. That's kind of the names you're going to expect to get those. I have not looked at the breakdown of the voting as far as player voting and media voting and where guys ended up, all of that stuff. But no, I don't think there's much surprise there. You know, the New York people are going to support their guys, and obviously Brunson and Cat have both been really good, and then the other guys are all the usual suspects.
One other note from the NFL. After yesterday, we talked about Liam Cohen, that whole situation with Tampa. How about an about-face? After Balke was fired as the general manager, Cohen informs Todd Bowles at Tampa Bay that he was going to interview after all in Jacksonville, and now it looks like he is going to be named the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That changed quickly because of the promises that Shad Khan has offered Cohen, including being a big part of the decision-making of the new general manager.
Yeah, again, I mean, it was quite clear that they realized that the reason he wasn't coming was because of Balke, and they made the move. I can't find it. I want to see where, I have to look up that voting because I want to see where Jaren Jackson Jr. finished in player voting.
I have that. Let me.
Guns, and more guns. That's what you'll find at Classic Arms. Over 700 firearms in stock, whether it be home defense, whether it be hunting, whatever it is. Well, the folks at Classic Arms, they've got it for you. They not only have new guns, they have used guns as well. because they not only sell, but they also buy and they will trade. So they've got everything you need, including all of the top brand names. They're the only gun importer in the Mid-South as well. They also do free gun inspections and free gun appraisals. They do it all. If it has to do with guns, they do it at Classic Arms. All the supplies that you need, gun safes, gun cases, ammunition, whatever, they will take care of you at Classic Arms. You can find them at 1740 Germantown Parkway. It's right behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. You can also find them online, classicarmsofmemphis.com, where you can shop 24/7 at Classic Arms.
Jaren Jackson Jr. finished 10th with fan voting, 7th with player voting, 6th with the media. John Morant, by the way, 7th fans, 7th players, 5 media. Desmond Bain, 18th by the fans, 9th with the players, 11th with the media. Again, the fans got 50% of the vote for the starters, the players 25%, and the media 25%. The reserves will be named next week, and I do believe Jaren Jackson Jr. will be a Western Conference All-Star reserve. If he's not, we're going to burn down the NBA league offices. No, I'm kidding. We'll take a break. When we come back, John Varlas will join us on the other side. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
I'm Finley Lavin, defender for University of Memphis Women's Soccer. Southern Security has the perfect low-interest rewards credit card. Variable annual percentage rates ranging from 15 to 18% and may increase at any time. Transfer your high-interest credit card balances to a Southern Security Rewards Visa today. Don't miss out on low rates and no transfer fees until December 31st, 2024. Apply today at southernsecurity.org or call our member service team 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics, federally insured by NCUA.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, EV6, 36-month lease, RU 621,425, 36-month lease, MSRP 55,820, K4 SEO 64,461, MSRP 24,715, Telluride SG 596,204, MSRP 41,060, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through KFA, excludes tax title license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 131/24.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. He's doing numbers I've never heard of before at Gossen Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Randy, when's the last time you heard of a new ride at $163 a month with electric EPA range of estimate 310? I got it in a 2024 Kia EV6, $63.96 due at signing, 36-month lease. Or a 2025 K4 GT Line, $206 a month, $34.99 due at signing, 24-month lease. 2025 Telluride S front-wheel drive, $398 per month, $39.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
And every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
You get the best of Memphis for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack. Choose from house pastrami, corned beef, smoked turkey, roast beef, roast pork, beef brisket, and full shoulders, all made in-house. Elwood's fresh baked bread is delivered daily by me in our bakery in Cordova, and all Elwood's cakes and sweet treats come from Frost Bakery. Open daily for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack on summer in the Lowe's parking lot. And the newest Elwood's at 4045 across from the Urban. Get the best of Memphis or anywhere else at Elwood Shack. It's time to get loud for your Memphis Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. when they host the New Orleans Pelicans. Arrive early, first 5,000 or receive a Memphis Sounds record player car air freshener. Secure your tickets today at Grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
to pick up a little bit more volume in the last few minutes on I-40 eastbound here at the Hernando de Soto Bridge over from West Memphis. Still quiet right now on 385 Billmores Parkway coming inbound out of Collierville. We expect that to start to pick up probably next 20-30 minutes on Billmores as you work your way past Riverdale. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're serving the Memphis area. They have been for the last 40 years. And they are your Valentine's Day headquarters. Shop this weekend. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 7:30 the time. Hour number 1 here on Sports 56 mornings. It's Friday. Time to talk to John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas on Daily. Check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at DailyMemphian.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where the pros and preps go to get their shot on. Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter for the Daily Memphian, but so much more. He's John Varlas. He joins us every Friday, normally in studio. And you can follow him, of course, on Twitter at John Varlas. Read all his great stories, as Mr. Announcer Man said, at the Daily Memphian. He is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. Good morning, John.
Yes, sir. Shoot 360 Memphis, where preps, everybody from preps to pros goes to get their game on. It's Memphis's number one basketball skills development facility. Greg talks about them throughout the week. I tell you about them on Fridays. And they're really, really good people, and they're offering a really, really good service to the basketball community. They have, at the new Cordova location, they've got full-size courts, high school-size courts, and they have the shooting bays, which is kind of their bread and butter. You go in there, you get on the bays, and you basically shoot the basketball. And with the advanced analytics that Shoot 360 provides and the gamification that they provide for their subscribers, they can tell you exactly what you're doing right and exactly what you're doing wrong, and they will help get your shot the best it can be. And as we know, shooting is such a high priority in basketball at all levels. So they're really doing a good service by trying to help with that. They have the old location in Collierville on Market Street, and you can call them there, 901-316-5500, and the newer location in Cordova, they're on Big Orange Road, that opened over the summer. You can call them in Cordova, 901-779-3176. You can subscribe at either location or both. You can subscribe on a monthly basis, on a longer term commitment if you want. But like Greg says every day, just go out there, check them out, and I'm sure you'll be really, really impressed. I know I'm impressed every time I go out there. They're really good people, and they're providing a good service for our community. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Thank you, John. All right, each Friday we ask you to pick a bone. Normally you do have a bone to pick, so where are we going today?
Well, you guys have probably experienced this. You're walking around probably in a parking lot, like you're heading to a inside of a store or something like that, a supermarket, a Hobby Lobby, perhaps, if you guys are going in to get...
How about Hobby Lobby? Shout out Hobby Lobby.
If you guys are going in to get some hobby goods, I mean, Walmart, Target, wherever you may be, you're going into a store, you're minding your own business, and a car comes up. At the same time you're getting ready to cross, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to cross a point where the car is going to intersect.
Right.
And the car stops. Well, maybe you're not ready to go on, but the car just stands there, and it kind of like forces you to continue to walk even though you're not ready. Have you guys ever experienced that?
Why are you stopping walking?
Well, because the car's coming. But see, that's the thing. The car is...
Well, you have the right of way. You're the pedestrian.
Yeah, see, I thought you'd go the other way.
Why aren't you crossing?
Because
what are you afraid of?
Because maybe I'm just taking my time. I'm in my head.
Well, it's on you.
The car will stop, and
the car's doing what it's supposed to do.
I salute the person for stopping, because we don't have enough people that stop for the pedestrians.
But my point is, a lot of times I've experienced this here lately, where they stop to the point where it gets toxic, and they're forcing you to go.
Just
even
wave them through.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You wave them through, and they still stay there, and then it kind of becomes a Mexican standoff, like in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I
And
just
you're
don't know
sitting-
why you're not ready. Like, what are you standing there
and
for?
you're
Why
sitting
aren't
there
you
pointing
going?
to each other? Or for example, you're like several steps ahead of the door, and there's a person kindly holding the door for you, but you're still a good bit of ways away.
Then you hustle
and then you
up.
gotta, yeah, but I don't want to hustle up.
What are you looking at your phone?
I'm just taking
I just
my
don't
time. I'm doing my
under-
thing. I don't want to make like Usain Bolt and sprint for the door.
Oh
just
no,
because
John! We
somebody's-
want to salute people for being.
I don't understand what
Nice.
you're doing that you're not ready to cross.
I
don't know.
want people to just I want people to just do their own thing. Yes, I'm on team kindness.
You want people to get run over by cars.
He wants people to shut doors in people's faces.
If I'm not ready to move, I'd rather them just go along.
I do
about
always
their
have
business.
when I'm going in a door at places. Obviously, those places have the doors that open on their own or whatever. But when I'm going into a place and there's somebody behind me, I don't know what the correct distance is to hold the door for somebody.
It's
like
tough.
how far behind me they.
If they're walking, I don't
it's
care what the
always-
distance is. I hold the door. I wait.
And that's the thing. It may be
like,
somebody.
so you're gonna hold it for like if they're 30 feet away.
Yeah, I will hold the door.
Well, see, and that's the thing.
That's dumb.
It may be somebody that doesn't want to feel like they're being rushed, and then because you're holding the door, they feel obligated to rush to the door.
Yeah,
or
I do it as about a 2-second rule, probably.
or-
If they aren't there, if they can't be at the door within 2 seconds, I'm not.
Kill
holding
them
it.
with kindness.
I think a couple of seconds is fine, but Greg, I think you're taking it to an extreme.
I probably am,
and
but-
you're not considering the feelings of the person that maybe they don't want to rush to the door, maybe they don't want to have to hustle into the store just because you're there holding the door.
John, you may be the only person that is going in this direction.
It's a nice thing that you're doing, but you've also got to consider the feelings of the person that maybe they just don't want to be rushed for whatever reason. Just
Wow, this one took an ugly turn.
You don't have
it's
to
not an
rush.
ugly turn. It's I'm actually considering the feelings of the other person.
No, I am
You don't have
holding
to
the door.
rush.
I'm being a gentleman.
Well, you do. If he's standing there holding the door, you're
No, you can let him be like, whatever. I'm going to walk my pace.
I'll look at them. I'll hold the door. If they turn around and go somewhere, or they stop to hesitate, then I'll let the door go and I'll leave. But I mean, first I turn around. They're walking. I don't care if they're 10 feet, 20 feet, or 30 feet. They're walking toward the door. I hold the door. If they keep coming, fine. If they hesitate, then I let it go.
I've just never seen. I'm still like somebody walking through the parking lot at Walmart over to go into the store. I don't see what you would be pausing for. Like I don't. So like
All his fans are screaming
like, I don't know
Varlas.
why-
He's
why
turning
you
around.
Wouldn't be ready to cross that thing.
Well,
because there's nothing. You're just going into the store. There's nothing to stop for.
There could be various reasons.
Unless you got to tie your shoe or something.
I
But
mean,
like,
yeah, there could be various reasons where you're just not ready to proceed, and then it,
you have fear of the store. Like what? I don't. What you're like. I don't know if I want to go.
you just may not be ready to cross at that particular time, and like I said, it becomes a weird standoff. I think for some people, I've observed to the point where it really gets toxic. Like if they're stopping for you and you're not ready to go, they get frustrated at you, and it's and that's not always. That's not always the case. If I say go on and you still stay and you're still like no, you go, and then it gets to be weird. I think I've seen it to the point where it gets to be weird. And like I said at the start, I'm all for kindness and consideration, but if it takes two, and if I'm not ready to reciprocate, I mean, you go on about your way.
It's your bone to
go
pick.
on about your way.
It's your prerogative to pick any bone you want, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever see Varlas out, don't do anything for him.
Just
Don't
go
keep it
barreling through the crosswalk.
Do not stop.
And if he gets mad at you, just say, "Hey, I thought you were waiting. Didn't think you were ready to go in yet. Thought you were sneaking up on target."
And admittedly, this would work better if we could demonstrate this in real time. But you guys, can't hang out with me all the time, and I understand that. Although,
well, if you're going to stand around there waiting across the or the crosswalk, I don't want to hang out with you.
Although if you did hang out with me on a daily basis, your lives would be infinitely more interesting. But
it's 30 degrees and you're waiting around to go in the store.
You need to write a book, man.
You should be running into the store when it's 30 degrees.
I should write a book.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's talk some preps.
I should write a book.
You wrote about. You didn't write a book, but you wrote an article about Bubba Luckett. We've talked about Bubba, final year at Christian Brothers, long storied career. and trying to go out with maybe another state championship.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be hard. But regardless of what Christian Brothers ends up doing this year, it's been a remarkable career for Coach Luckett. And we do have a piece up at the Daily Memphian right now where I sat down with him this week, and he was really, really kind and generous with his time and reflected on so many aspects of his career, so many personal things too relevant to his life and his journey. And it was just a really fun conversation. I told him when I went in there, I said, Coach, this is one of the few times, this is the only time I've not wanted to talk to you, because we're talking about the end of your career, and it's hard, and when a legend like Bubba Luckett hangs it up, but he's had no regrets. He's he's had a tremendous ride at Christian Brothers. Obviously, his health is playing a part of this. He has a pulmonary fibrosis, and it's a lung thing that causes your lungs to just basically progressively to deteriorate. And, his health is not allowing him to coach, basically coach past this year. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to stand for long periods. He can't really afford to get excited, because if he does, he'll just start coughing, uncontrollably, and it's hard to stop. So it's a tough situation that he's dealing with health-wise, and that's certainly hastening his departure from the sidelines. But yeah, he's going to be missed. He really is. 701 victories to be exact. One state title as a head coach. That 2022 team led by Chandler Jackson, who's now at Florida State, that went undefeated, one of only 3 teams in Memphis to do so. Another state title in 1987 when he was an assistant under Charlie Leonard. He's the second leading scorer in the history of the school. He was the leading scorer for, well over 40 years. So many records, so many memories. I mean, and, I can't think of anybody, still active that's probably more closely associated with their school. You say Bubba Luck, you say Christian Brothers, you think Bubba Luckett, and vice versa. So it's going to be a special night out there at Christian Brothers. I know a lot of people are coming in from out of town, a lot of friends, former players, and colleagues to salute him. And it's going to be big. 6 o'clock. The game against St. Benedict is at 6 o'clock, and then there's going to be a reception to follow. And I'm sure it's going to be a special night and an emotional night for Coach Luckett, but one that's well deserved.
Good stuff, John.
Speaking of coaching legends, unfortunately, we just lost another one with Phil Clark on the baseball side.
We did, and that, I mean, man, Coach Clark really, really battled. He was, sick with colon cancer for a long time, and additionally to the colon cancer, he had Crohn's disease, which that by itself is really tough to deal with. And he was only 68 years old. Greg, when you get to be our age, 68 is really not that old. So yeah, very sad. I mean, and you can't tell the history of baseball. And I mean, Phil Clark is the history of baseball in Shelby County. Honestly, playing at Memphis State, playing it on arguably the best team Memphis State ever had. They were a win away from the College World Series, when Coach Clark was a senior. Then going into coaching, first at Skyview Academy at Frazier, a little private school, which is now closed, 2 state titles there. And then, of course, moving on to Germantown, where he had the bulk of his success, 2 more state titles at Germantown, coach of arguably the greatest high school team ever in the state of Tennessee, the 1995 Germantown team that won undefeated and won the national championship. USA Today, Baseball America, virtually every publication out there crowned them as national champions. And think about it, to go undefeated for an entire baseball season.
It's amazing. So many games.
Yeah, so many games, and just baseball, such a weird
random sport.
You run into a hot pitcher, or you boot a ball, and there's your winning streak. But they went 38-0. Then he moved on to Bartlett and won one more state title. 5 state titles in total, 7 runner-ups in total, 933 wins, which is 3rd most all-time in the state of Tennessee, and just such an influence. I mean, he founded the Tennessee Baseball Coaches Association, which has helped grow the game across the state of Tennessee. they used to do this deal where they would take 25 kids from West Tennessee and 25 from Middle Tennessee and 25 from East Tennessee and bring them to a central location so scouts could see them and stuff like that. Kind of like a showcase event. Kind of before it became the thing to do. So many of these kids got college scholarships from that, and so many friends, so many memories. Just
a big loss.
Just an incredible career and very, very sad. So, yeah, we lost a giant this week with Phil Clark.
I mean, just in the last several months, Terry Tippett, Mike O'Neill, and now Phil Clark. I mean, some of these legends, these were guys that when I came here, and I mentioned this the other day, and Mike O'Neill was a little bit later, but, when I walked in here, some of these giants of coaching, from Phil Clark to Tippett to Ted Anderson to Ken Netherland, the list goes on and on and on. And unfortunately, some of them are gone, and many of them retired. The new legends are being created now, those coaches that have had the success. But, man, it might have been the golden era. And unfortunately, there's this sad news that we bring up seemingly every couple of weeks. So, but good job in writing about Phil. Great job in writing about Bubba. And we'll take a break. We'll come back and give us your up-to-date knowledge on what's happening in the high school basketball world here in Memphis with the boys, and the girls. Also about recruiting. John's got a little bit on recruiting as well that we'll get to. We'll do that when we return. Of course, John is brought to you each and every Friday by Shoot 360 Memphis. One of our great sponsors is Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. You're thinking about lunch. I know it's breakfast time right now, so you're probably not thinking about lunch, but later on you will be. Or dinner tonight. What to do with the family. Bring home some Corky's. Bring the family to Corky's. Maybe this weekend stop by and have lunch or dinner at Corky's. They're located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. They've been around for 4 decades. They have been catering that entire time. That's one of their specialties, catering, and catering big events. Whatever that size is, it's not too big. For Corky's, they can take care of you. Start you out as low as $7.99 per person for their catering services. They have lunch specials every day, party packs that start at just $7.49. When you head over for lunch or dinner, get your entree, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Example, stock number RZ307440, MSRP 82085, dealer discount 7425, purchase allowance 2750, sale price 71910, expires 3325.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown.
down and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Mid-South, it's time for a new year and a new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, a perfect compact hatchback for commutes, getaways, and just about everything else for $299 a month. Or buy Mirage for $18,410, gets 43 mpg highway. Or take your pick from 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid PHEV, named 2025 Family Green Car of the Year for 3 straight years. Or 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, now just $399 a month. Plus, get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today to start your year off right. 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate Mirage RHO 15630, MSRP 18410, PHEV RZO 66681, MSRP 42750, Outlander RZO 88655, MSRP 32770. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports 56 Morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Talking with John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. All right, we got a lot of things still to talk about. We don't have a ton of time. Give us a little update since last Friday. What's going on in the high school scene here in Memphis?
Well, it was a good week for Willie Kemp and the Whitehaven Tigers on Martin Luther King Day. They beat a good Fairleigh team, which I expect to be in the to compete in the state tournament in their classification. So they beat Fairleigh at home on MLK Day, and then last night they were behind Overton for a good bit of the game. Overton is Cedric Henderson's team is solid, but they lack size, and they've had their moments this year where they haven't really played well. So, but they, for whatever reason, they came out and played well last night against Whitehaven. They led for a good bit of the game, but then in the second half, Taquez Butler really took over, and Whitehaven ended up winning that game by about 7 or 10 points. And, and Butler's a guy I've talked about before. Mr. Basketball consideration is going to be starting up here pretty soon, and he's somebody that could well be in the mix in Class 4A. He scored 29 points in the Fairleigh game I mentioned. He took over there at the end last night. So good week for Whitehaven and Taquez Butler. Houston picked up a good win last night over Southwind in 4A, and the Bartlett team that we've talked about. I mean, those guys are just rolling. I mean, they've won their last 4 games by. Each one has been over 35 points. I mean, they're just crushing people at this point. So Bartlett's playing well. I mean, district tournaments are going to be coming up, and then the region to follow. So we've got some really, really good basketball coming up, especially in 4A when you bring District 16 and District 15 together with Whitehaven and Central and Overton and East on one side, and then Southwind and Houston, Bartlett, those guys on the other side. It's going to be a lot of fun.
If this might be a tough question to answer, but if you had to pick one team right now, public team, and one team from the private sector, who are the best boys basketball teams, who would they be? I mean,
it's tough because anything can happen, obviously, and anything does in Memphis. But like I said, Bartlett's playing really well right now, and they're so deep. On the private side, Briarcrest picked up a good win last Friday night against Christian Brothers, and that one was interesting because they played at a slower pace. There wasn't an all-out stall, but they played at a patient pace like they do. Then those teams also know each other so well, so the defensive intensity was very high. Lots of contested shots, lots of misses. It was a weird game. There weren't very many fouls either, so you didn't get a chance to score with the clock not moving. It ended up coming down to the last possession of the game, and it's only 28-28, right? Wow. So Christian Brothers actually held it for like a minute and a half for the last shot. They didn't get a good shot, so they left Briarcrest with about 4 or 5 seconds left. Briarcrest dials up a play. Kid who hadn't scored a point the entire game knocks down a three-pointer, and Briarcrest wins the game 31-28. So big victory for Briarcrest in a low-scoring affair.
Do they need a shot clock? in high school?
That's the thing. That's what I was trying to explain. It wasn't a shot clock wasn't an issue in this game because both teams were trying to score. They just shot very poorly. Good defense, and like I said, they were very few fouls, so there were very few free throw attempts. It wasn't a shot clock issue. There was no outright hold until like the last 90 seconds of the game when Christian Brothers did elect to hold for the last shot, and unfortunately they didn't get it to go down.
Okay, and real quick, girls, who right now who's
Collierville? We're going to go out to Collierville on Monday and talk to Coach Kendrick Watkins and his girls. I mean, they're already up to 21 victories, and
wow.
People will remember, the way that things ended at Collierville last year, kind of controversial fashion. Coach Watkins came in after a really great run with the girls at Rossville Christian, a small private school. So he came in from a teeny tiny private school that doesn't even compete in the TSSAA to a gigantic public school program that competes against, the best of the best in Tennessee. And, he's just doing a wonderful job with those girls. They've won their last two games without their leading scorer, Hillary Shikuku. She's a little banged up, but once Hillary gets back, Collierville's going to certainly be a team to watch going forward in the postseason.
Switching over to football, got a text from our buddy John up in Covington wanting you to comment on Coach Kirby leaving Covington.
Well, Coach Kirby is gone from Covington. He's accepted the Henry County job, so 5A football just got a whole lot tougher. I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of good candidates for that Covington job. It's a very attractive job, great facilities, a great community with lots of football crazy people like John the Texter. Lots of good people that love their football in Covington, so they should have their pick of good candidates. But yeah, Coach Kirby did a terrific job there, and for whatever reason, I haven't talked to him, but for whatever reason, he felt like it was the time to move on to a couple of steps up in classification. So we wish Coach Kirby good luck at Henry County, but yeah, Covington's going to be fine. I'm sure they'll be able to get a really good candidate in there.
A couple of other texts for you. One, Keith says this might be the dumbest bone picked ever.
Well,
it's pretty dumb.
I'm gonna.
But another one says, agree to this bone pick. Says extend it to those crazy roundabouts. Now roundabouts are different. Roundabouts are dumb. I hate roundabouts, but they do agree with your bone pick.
Well, I appreciate that, and again, Keith, I would invite you to come with me, and we can see it in action.
I'm not going to hang out in parking lots with you, standing there letting cars go by. Nobody wants to do that.
And maybe you could
sit there all day watching cars go by in front of you.
The authorities driving over to John, like, what are you doing here? You
just keep waving people by. Eventually, we'll get in the store. We just got to let all these cars clear through.
What was the name of the reasonable texter who agreed with me?
I don't have their name.
Yeah, roundabouts are tough. I hate roundabouts.
Roundabouts are annoying. Oxford just keeps adding roundabouts.
You hate to live in England, my friend.
Roundabouts drive me crazy.
Yeah, we don't live in England, thankfully.
Raider Corey says that this one's on you. Cross the street.
Yeah, cross the damn street, John.
If I'll cross it when I'm ready, Raider Corey. You're my guy, Raider Corey, but don't rush me.
Jeez.
I'm too old to be rushed. I've earned the right to take my time through life, haven't we all?
Yeah, but keep walking. Keep it moving. Just keep it moving.
They're doing a nice thing for you. And I would think you would reciprocate.
Right. They're doing a nice thing for me. I'm saying, no. You don't have to do a nice thing for me. They're saying, yes. They're saying, yes, I do.
Once you give the wave, as long as they're looking at you, sometimes you can't tell if they're looking at you, then they should go.
But that's my whole point. Like I tried to explain to you, I give my wave. They still sit there. I say, no, I'm not ready.
Then it's on them if you give the wave.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
I don't know why you're not ready.
Yeah, that's the other point.
I just don't know what you're doing that you're not ready to cross.
He's looking at his damn phone.
I may just not be ready. I like I said, I've earned the right to take my time. I think we all have at this point.
All right.
Somebody else says roundabouts aren't dumb. People who can't figure out how to navigate roundabouts are dumb.
It's also a great song by Yes back in the 70s.
I have gotten better at roundabouts. I have figured them out now just because of the experiences in Oxford.
The funniest thing is European Vacation with the roundabout with Chevy Chase. That's great.
I mean, I think we just don't have them here, so we can't practice. I think that's
that's why it was Oxford that taught me. You get on Ole Miss campus.
Well, they're also known as circles. In New Jersey, I grew up. There was a bunch of them.
Traffic circles. They're big.
Traffic circles and roundabouts are the same thing. We had a bunch of them. Incoming traffic, getting into the roundabout. We had plenty of those growing up, so I had that experience. I have no problems with those. It's not that complicated. But we're talking about the worst drivers in the world. in this city. So how would they figure out roundabouts? They can't even figure out the difference between merge and yield.
Greg, did anybody ever tell you exactly where New Chicago was? Or did they just?
No.
Or did they just joke with you?
No. But it's funny. People actually thought I was serious about the pizza thing and all that. But no, I don't. Where is New Chicago?
I may be wrong, and I'm sure somebody will be eager to correct me. But it's in. Do you remember where the? Do you know where the old Firestone plant is?
Yes.
Near where Manassas High School is.
Is that going toward the airport? Right?
No. Where Manassas High School is. It's north of downtownish.
Oh.
It's
Like
that's where.
Oh, I thought the old Firestone plant was.
I think that's where it is.
Oh, I thought the old Firestone plant was on the way to the airport.
Yeah, it's pretty industrial kind of ish, and,
okay.
And I don't think there's any Italian beef or pizza.
No Italian beef or Chicago style pizza. Real quick, we got less than a minute. You were talking about before we went on the air that the class of 27 high school football in this city. There's scouts coming or coaches coming from everywhere. It looks like it's going to be a very bountiful class.
It's going to be a very
least.
bountiful class. You know, 2 kids from state championship Mace. You know, they're getting a lot of attention. Cadence Nelson picked up an Arkansas State offer this week, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot more and a lot better offers than that going forward. Jamarcus Pittman, the All-State lineman, Florida State offered him this week. Wisconsin, Boston College, the University of Memphis Tigers, they're all in on Jamarcus Pittman already, a two-way lineman. Larry Johnson, the running back at Germantown, he picked up a Southern Miss offer this week, Arkansas State as well. And Tay Walden, an athlete, skill guy from Collierville in the class of 2027, he picked up a Florida State offer this week. So, so the sophomores are starting to blow up, as the kids say.
Mike's coming in and taking players from Memphis. John, great stuff
to see.
as always.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, John. John Varlas, you can hear him every Friday with us right here on Sports 56 Mornings.
Don't rush me.
Don't rush this guy. Read all his great stories at the Daily Memphian, where you can take your time reading those stories. Follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. 1 hour in the books. When we return, we'll open up hour 2, talking with the new Showboats head football coach. That is Ken Wisenhunt, former NFL head coach. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Through the end of January, Family Leisure has got to get rid of all the 2024 inventory because all the new 2025 items are starting to arrive. All floor models are up to 50% off. You want a cold plunge tub? They start at $49.99. Go the other route with a hot tub. Get $3,000 off with free steps and chemicals. Family Leisure has pool tables, arcades, ping pong, air hockey, even baseball tables from 20 to 60% off. Want piercing? Leisure has theater seating up to 75% off. Plus, now's the time to start thinking about pool seats. You can buy it and get on the installation schedule and be ready before everyone else. Special financing is also available. Hey, if you want to get free delivery on any of these items, you just tell the phone staff at Family Leisure that you want this commercial. It's the floor model. So now, through the end of January, Family Leisure in Road I-40. Family and fun come together.
This is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Classic style meets modern design in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Take your pick from 2025 Jetta Sport or 2024 Volkswagen Taos SE. Get yours for $249 a month. Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike says come get 2024 Tiguan S or 2025 Jetta SE, now $279 a month. Plus all 2024 Atlas SEL Peak Editions, $5,000 off MSRP. So get to Gossett Volkswagen today, 1875 Covington Pike, online, GossettVWMemphis.com. And remember, no reasonable offer will be refused. Gossett's where we're charging forward and charging less every day.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
7,500 miles, Jetta Sport, SMO 45898, MSRP 25416, Taos SE, RMO 56983, MSRP 31939, Tiguan S, RM 144331, MSRP 31363, Jetta SE, SMO 10792, MSRP 28321, Atlas 3500 bonus customer cash, 1500 Gossett discount excludes tax item and license, includes all rebates and incentives, P of 695 with approved credit, well qualified buyer, offer valid through end of the month.
Traffic brought to you by 901 Eats to Go, 3135 Kirkland Road in Bartlett. Pick up on X Uber Eats on the line at 901eats.com. Eats with the Z, good food fast.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's trying to pick up out here in a couple of areas up and down certain sections of Tullahoma. Holmes also it's building on 51 southbound through Woodstock as that traffic builds out of Millington. Still not bad right now on I-40. We've checked it there from Covington Pike on I-40 all the way over to Hollywood. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Diamonds are forever. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:05 the time, hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Aston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Currently 24 degrees. We'll get up to 39 today. That's it. Sunshine then tonight. Looking at clear skies with a low of 30. Your Saturday looks to be nice. 54 for a high with mostly sunny skies. Ken Wisenhunt's going to join us in just a moment. Later on in the hour, Matt Dillon will join us for the Tiger Basketball Report. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. Every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know 5 different Grizzlies have been either voted in as a starter or selected for the Western Conference All-Star team, totaling 9 appearances? Marc Gasol 3 times, 1 as a starter. John Morant twice, both as starting. Zach Randolph twice. Pau Gasol once. Jaren Jackson Jr. once. Will Jaren Jackson Jr. make it twice? Will he be voted in as a reserve next week? We'll find out next week. But the starters were announced yesterday. No Grizzlies on the starting Western Conference team. James Gaddis Jewelers, great place for all your jewelry needs. Whether you need a cleaning of the ring or the watch or whatever that piece of jewelry may be, whether you need something that has to be fixed, they can take care of that for you. Valentine's Day just around the corner. It makes sense to check out what they have to offer at James Gaddis Jewelers, online at GaddisJewelers.com. Make sure to follow them at James Gaddis. Great people, great jewelry, top of the line. 6 decades they've been in Memphis, James Gaddis Jewelers. Without further ado, he's the new head coach of the Memphis Showboats, former NFL head coach with the Arizona Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans. He is a Super Bowl champion, former NFL tight end. He is Ken Wisenhunt, who joins us here on the program. Ken, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good to have you back on. We had you on, as you can recall, I hope, right after you were named the head coach. And at that point, it was the infancy stages, right? There was not a lot of questions you could answer. Probably still a lot that you can't because practice hasn't begun and will not until the end of February, and the season won't start until late March. But what has happened since we last spoke to you?
Well, Jim Monas, who's our GM, and I have spent a lot of time working together, talking about what we're looking for player-wise. and he's gone out and worked at trying to build a roster that fits that vision. So we feel pretty good about where we are. We're kind of in that gray area right now where, guys are coming out of the end of the year. Are they going to get carried on the roster? Or are they going to be free? There's a lot of things that transition during this time period, and we're still looking to try to get players. So it's kind of a little bit of a we don't know what's going to happen, but we're working at it trying to get guys. We've got a few commits that we feel really good about, but there's just so many moving parts right now. It's hard to talk about it.
You're right.
When exactly will you report to camp and start workouts?
Yeah, February 24th we go in. The coaches do. Our group does, and we got a good staff. I'm excited about them. And then the players will come in 5 days after that, and that's when we'll get started. This whole thing with where the players are right now will settle down after the Super Bowl, and then we'll be able to get guys and sign them and know for sure that they're coming. So there's just still a lot of flux left, because of the championship games this weekend and then 2 weeks until the final games. But, there are some teams that are going to be making decisions on their rosters and what they do. And, we have our eyes on a lot of players, and we've had really good conversations with these players. And I think that, they're getting the idea or understanding that what we're going to do is try to put them in position to not change anything, but make them better, get them more time, so that when they go back into an NFL camp, you don't get a lot in the time period that they're around the NFL from now until June. There's just not a lot that goes on. There's not a lot that you get out of it. When you get to mini camps and the training sessions, you get a little bit, but it's still not like playing football. And some of these guys, the most important thing is just the techniques of playing football and just being able to react to situations. So, it's really kind of different with the timing, but we feel good. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback.
How many players can you bring to camp?
We can bring 65, I believe is the number.
And then the rosters are going to be at the 50 mark again?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So the calendar, and you just kind of alluded to it a little bit, it's a little strange, not unlike the college football calendar, which is whacked. I mean, it's with the portal and all that stuff. So with the college guys, I know you're waiting around for the official end of the NFL season after the Super Bowl, what players would be available to play in your league and things like that. But what about the college guys that may be thinking, well, maybe we can catch on with an NFL team as an undrafted free agent. Maybe we can sign, or we can go out and actually prove ourselves playing in this league. Is that, you think, a really good option for a player to go out there and show what they could do as a professional as opposed to what they did collegiately, and then they would have the better opportunity, if they're that good, to be able to get that shot in the NFL?
Well, I do think it would be an easier window to get into the league if you're working in a league that's running the same programs, that's kind of, helping you get better at what you do, and then the NFL can actually see you in a professional football game type avenue. It can help them. But I don't know that they'll go that. There's so many people, and I'm sure you guys know this, there's so many people that are in these guys' heads this time of year, especially, with the NIL stuff and telling them how great they are. And a lot of these guys are getting disservice to some degree because, they're saying you're going to be drafted high and all of these things. And it happens every year. It's not anything that's out of the normal. So we're just hoping that, we're in a position when we go to our training camp that we can get some guys that want to get better. We've got a few. I mean, we've got a good core group of guys that understand that. And, they know that their best chance of getting back to the NFL is coming to this and playing in this league and showing that they can play. So, there's still a lot of growth that's got to happen with this league. I think last year was a great start for it. I think this year can be an even better year, from a standpoint of building off of that, because I think the partnership, not necessarily the partnership, but the idea between the NFL and the UFL, maybe that can work a little bit from a standpoint of being able to give some of those guys a chance to get better and then go back to their team.
Yeah.
But, that's all something that's going to be played out, over the next month.
You mentioned your staff, which hasn't been officially announced. Can you tell us anything about your staff yet?
Not really. I don't really want to talk about it yet because there's still a little bit of flux going on with it. So, we are just getting started with the contracts and signing the contracts and coming together. And, I feel very good about guys that we've got on our staff. I think that, some of these guys have been in the NFL, were good coaches in the NFL. Some of them were, I got some young guys that are really good, I think, and I'm excited about them. And I'm excited about them to get a chance to show what they can do from a coaching perspective. Because, let's face it, this is an opportunity for guys in that arena to advance too. Mm-hmm. If you can, have success, if you can say, look, this receiver that we got that caught, 70 balls for us, I coached him, that's gonna make a difference. So, the structure of what's going on, and I got to give the UFL credit for how they did it. They were patient, they're very deliberate with how they're doing it. They want to put a product on the field that is entertaining, but I do also think that they are working to try to make the game better, and that's going to be a big piece of it.
Yeah, and to your point, I would think it would be a pretty good pool of candidates for anybody's coaching staff because, like you said, you have the young, unproven, but ready to take that step up coaches who one day could be head coaches in the National Football League. You never know. And then you have these proven veteran coaches whose time maybe has run out in the NFL. Maybe perhaps they stepped away for a little bit, but are always coaches. They'll be coaches until the day they die, and they want to get back in there. And that's why we've seen a lot of big names coach in this league, whether it be a head coach or an assistant coach. You're a perfect example. Two-time NFL head coach with the Cardinals and with the Titans, head coach, and you're coaching in this league. So I think the quality of coaches is there. The players, certainly you have that as well, young, unproven guys coming out of college, and some of the veteran players. Now, that's the interesting part. The veteran players who may have played and haven't played in the last year or two in the league, to get that chance, to get that opportunity to showcase their goods, that they still have something left. And I don't know if you can talk about specific players, but I've had a couple of people bring it up to me because of the connection, obviously being the University of Memphis to this city and the Memphis Showboats. You have a couple of players already on your roster that have played at the University of Memphis and had maybe a cup of coffee or two in the NFL. Then there's a player like a Darrell Henderson. People bring up that name all the time, who was a starter in the NFL, is not old, has not been in the league for, Eli, a year or two now, Henderson? Those kind of players. Yeah. Are those players that you covet, that you can go after, try to convince to keep going and maybe get your opportunity in the UFL so that maybe you can get back to the NFL?
Yes. I mean that is what this is about. That's what this whole thing is about, is giving our guys a chance to get back to the NFL, to further their game. What's happening is the NFL offseason is there's so many people in it. You don't really get a lot of time, to work on the craft of your game. You're into the preseason, and then all of a sudden they make cuts. Now, a lot of these guys will make a cut and be on a team, but they're doing practice squad stuff. They're not really honing their skills. They're out there running around looking at a card, trying to give the team a look. And then there's so many of those guys now too. The quality of that work of being able to help your game is not what's not what's happening there. If you're going in practice and you're, all the time when you go against a veteran, those guys tell you, slow down, don't go so fast. Don't make me look bad. Those kind of things, which, okay, I know, I get it. But, you need an arena where if you're a receiver, you can really run a route against somebody good and win and make a play. If you're a quarterback, this is a great league to develop young quarterbacks because you get a chance to have real action. And, it's so hard. It's so hard for young guys in the league to play that position. The Jaden Daniels, they're the ones that are the complete anomalies. They're not the ones that happen all the time. He had a great year and he's a great player. But there's a lot of guys out there that could play, but, they don't necessarily get all that time. And then when they get their chance, whether it's in the league or even in the UFL, they're not ready to play.
Right.
Having an opportunity for them to play competitive football, and in a situation where they can be evaluated by pro scouts, it's a great thing. So, it's exciting to, hopefully the game will continue to get better. We'll get better players in there, and, it'll be exciting for everybody.
You mentioned Jaden Daniels. You spent some time as a player in Washington, so are you rooting for the Commanders?
Yes. I have a lot of friends when they from back in the day. In fact, they just that played for Washington. So I am excited to see those guys compete.
And with Daniels, as a guy who's been around a lot of quarterbacks, obviously, does it amaze you to see a rookie quarterback do what he has done, especially the poise that he shows, especially at end of close games?
Well, I don't want to. This is funny, but I'll say this. I mean, you got to remember now, I had Ben Roethlisberger, who won 15 games his rookie year. And, so there are guys that come along that have that ability to do those things. I've watched Jaden play at LSU, and, you knew that he was going to be a good player just because of the way he could see the field, the way he could make those throws, especially ones under pressure. I don't know that you could have ever said that he would have been this good, but, it's amazing. It's good for him. It's great for the game. It's good for him to see young players. But I can tell you, that's more the exception than the rule.
Are you getting a chance, Coach, to watch a lot of the NFL?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
So let me ask you this. What did you think of the controversy, or became controversial, about the great Pat Mahomes, that he's basically taken advantage of this system that they have now, which is the protection of quarterbacks, protection of players, but primarily the quarterbacks, and some of those calls that went against or went in favor of Kansas City were very, very questionable in their win, and that he's taken advantage of the system. How would you respond to that?
I don't necessarily know that he's taking advantage of the system. He's playing the game. The guy is the one thing I don't think anybody can question is what he's done as a player.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, the reason that they've won is because he's been on that field and he's made those plays and he's had good players around him that has helped him. Mm-hmm. So when I see that, I just think, I don't necessarily say that there's anything that he's getting any kind of special consideration. The guy plays. He plays hurt. He plays all the time. He's tough. He makes plays in situations where, it's just incredible. And he's been a student of the game for a long time. So, I understand everybody's fascination with him because he's a great player. And, the easy thing is to say, well, he's getting all kind of considerations. Listen, I've been around those officials. I haven't seen him give us any consideration, so I don't know that that's going on.
I'm sure that you've had in your playing days your bell rung a few times and know about injuries in playing football. Obviously, safety comes first. I mean, nobody would argue that. But have we gone too far? Have we taken anything away from the actual game of tackle football?
Well, I don't know if that's the case or not, but I don't want to be standing on the table arguing that would be the case, because then all it would take is one person getting it. And so, it's a violent game. It's a tough game. I think, the league has done a great job of morphing its rules through the years to help protect the players. And you guys know this as well as I do. Things happen fast.
They do.
Yeah.
Those guys are moving fast. And, so some of those situations, there's going to be collisions. There's going to be things that happen, and that's part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to ask you one thing, because when the Lions lost in the playoffs, they had the play where Jamison Williams, they tried to throw a pass with a wide receiver. It gets intercepted. They get criticized for that because it didn't work. You, in the Super Bowl, you guys, now you had a receiver who was a college quarterback, so I guess it makes it a little bit different that you could trust him. But you had the pass with Antoine Randall L. throwing the pass. What goes into a play like that, especially when you're doing it in a Super Bowl? How many times had you practiced that play? How do you figure out when the right time to call that play is? Because, again, if it doesn't work, if it blows up in your face, everybody's going to say, why the hell are you doing this? But you guys, it worked.
Yeah, then you get killed.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to trust in the guy that's doing it. Yeah. Randall L., when he did it for us, I mean, the guy was crazy. He just had a tremendous knack for doing it. And it wasn't the first time in the Super Bowl. It wasn't the first time he had completed a pass or thrown a pass that was a good pass. He'd done it many times during the season. So, we had a play that was similar from a run game wise. It was that we had tied in with that to make it look like we were running that play. Mm-hmm. And we felt good about the play. We felt good that in the right situation we were going to call it. You never know how the game was going. It was fourth quarter, and it was, we were kind of stuck in motion a little bit, and so I got on the headphones and said, "Coach, we got this for a first down. I'm going to run this play, get the first down, and then I'm going to run the reverse pass." So he knew it was coming in advance, a couple of plays if we got the first down, and all of that. And to my surprise at the time, because Coach Cowher was always for the gadget plays that we had done, all I hear on the headset is, "Boo!" I'm like, "Uh-oh." I said, "Uh-oh, this better work,"
Oh, gosh.
But, we had so much confidence in that play, and because we had worked it before, and it was amazing. So, you get a feel for doing that. In fact, one of the plays that Detroit ran in the game this past Sunday was one we ran in Pittsburgh, Ben's freshman year, which was the lateral to the back going up in the hole down in the red zone for a touchdown.
Oh, wow.
And Randall L. did that. He was the one that he came in on motion from the outside. The quarterback flipped him the ball, and then he flipped it to the back, coming back the other way that went up inside for the touchdown. So that's kind of carrying it forward in a weird kind of way, because they took that play and ran it again, and it worked again.
What did Coach Cowher might say after the play, though, when it worked?
Yeah, he doesn't remember that. He doesn't remember
only the bad things.
Only
the negative things, right? Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the moral of the story, all you Showboats fans out there, get ready, because Coach Wisenhunt's going to run gadget plays out the yin-yang. Get ready for what should be a fun season. The next time we have you on, I know you'll have a lot more answers to these questions we're asking you, Coach. We really appreciate it. Before too long, the Showboats will be on the field, and Coach Ken Wisenhunt, the Super Bowl champion, the former coach of the Titans and the Cardinals, will be leading this team out onto the field at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Always a pleasure, Coach. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, enjoyed it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. Take care. All-Star Chevrolet, folks. Hey, everybody. Best thing about a new year is getting something new to drive. So it makes sense to head to Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, where all the Silverados are. Get $1,500 in extra savings when you trade in a 2011 or newer passenger car or a light-duty truck. 1.9% financing on new Blazers, or 2.9% with no payments for 90 days on a new Equinox. Yes, you can be payment-free until April, because your good credit deserves it. If you're in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare worker, military, you're a teacher, a recent graduate, you get an additional $500 off. So let's go. Nobody has the certified and the pre-owned like All-Star Chevrolet. Everything from pre-owned Silverados, Sierra trucks, Nissans, Jeeps, Fords. They also have a beautiful red Corvette Stingray. And if you've got any vehicle you want to sell, you bring it to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch today and get the most money back for it. So together, let's drive to All-Star Chevy's Fresh Start Sale. It's going on now in Olive Branch. Also online at allstarautogroup.com. When we return, the professor, Matt Dillon, the Tiger Basketball Report. Yeah, the Tigers got a win last night. It was ugly, but a dub's a dub. We'll talk about that and their battle Sunday with UAB. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With two conveyor lines at the largest patch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, or personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a home that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktie.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Mid-South, it's time for a new year and a new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, a perfect compact hatchback for commutes, getaways, and just about everything else for $299 a month. Or buy Mirage for $18,410, gets 43 mpg highway. Or take your pick from 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid PHEV, named 2025 Family Green Car of the Year for 3 straight years. Or 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, now just $399 a month. Plus, get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today to start your year off right. 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Military rebate Mirage RHO 15630 MSRP 18410 PHEV RZO 66681 MSRP 42750 Outlander RZO 88655 MSRP 32770 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe in 2024. We can't wait to serve you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's picked up a little bit more volume out here on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way to Sycamore View Road inbound on Sam Cooper, right? You come off the interstate, we've watched that increase up through the Midtown area. That's only going to get busier the next few minutes. 240 northbound at Lamar. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. Go see them this weekend and shop local. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We open the show talking Tigers basketball. A hard-fought win last night over Wichita State, 61-53. Sunday, they'll host UAB. And here to talk about that and all things Tigers basketball is our good friend Matt Dillon, the professor. It's time for the Tigers basketball report, brought to you by Napa Cafe, Ben Swanger Glass, Colonial Hardware, and Central Barbecue. Matt, how are you?
Well, kind of in shock from last night, to be honest.
a little bit. Boy, that game got late in the second half, and I'm thinking, man, what am I going to say in this postgame show if they don't pull this thing out? But really surprising, Greg, to be honest with you. Did not think the Tigers would play the way they did last night.
I didn't think so either, Matt, but should we be shocked? Because quite honestly, since that Florida Atlantic blowout win in Boca, they haven't particularly played well in conference play. They won the bulk of their games. They lost the game at Temple. So maybe we shouldn't be shocked that they played that way.
Well, great point. North Texas, you win by 4. East Carolina, you win by 4. I mean, you go, up to Temple and lose, obviously, and then you play in Charlotte, and it's a 9-point game, and it was pretty close for about half of it. Yeah, I don't know what is taken over. I don't know if it's a mental thing, Greg, with this team. They played such a tough non-conference schedule. Now they're in the American. I don't know if they're saying we can just come out and, go through the motions and play, what we want to do our way. And these other teams they've got tape on the Tigers. They scouted them. Paul Mills is a good coach, a very solid coach. Earl Roberts came in and had a nice team last year, and then had to go on. He had a couple of injuries and they struggled, but guys have figured out on the other side how to attack this team a little bit, and it looks like they're going to have to come back and really get focused on a couple of things. And I know you guys have noticed one of them is rebounding, and which is really surprising. I was amazed that they were out rebounded last night by this team. Wichita, a very small basketball team with the exception of Ballard. That was one problem, and then turnovers, just unforced turnovers. They weren't being pressed or anything else. They just turning the ball over, and that's been a problem with this team. Coach Hart always talked about it. And when you get in league play, people really come after you. Again, Greg, we've always said this is a hunted team in this league now. People are going to come after them every time out. This would have made Wichita's early part of the season. Now, I know they have a winning record, but they really are played bad in the league. And they were coming out, and they were hungry, and they were ready to go. And I was shocked that, it really took the Tigers as long as it did to put them away.
Obviously, the turnovers have been a problem all year. I guess Penny on the broadcast last night after the game and the post game, what he basically said he wants it needs to be just Haggerty and Hunter handling the basketball.
That's basically what he said, and he's right. To be honest with you, now Haggerty will turn the ball over some. Now he's not a guy with a positive ratio, but he's good enough where you need him in the clutch, obviously, to handle the ball. But just people in the wrong place, just throwing the ball around. I was really shocked that there was no continuity in the offense last night. And Eli, the bigs of the Tigers, I made another statement before the game. We were talking on the broadcast, and I said the bigs should handle the inside against this Wichita State team. They were very small. They had a 4 guy with 6'5", and you look at the stats for Dane and Musa, very, very poor last night. Musa started off. It's funny, if he starts out okay, a lot of times he'll play a very solid game. Last night he just started out, I guess not into it or whatever, and then Dane finally got going a little bit as the game progressed, but they should have been able to do a lot of damage against their front line. Very small basketball team for Wichita State.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. With Memphis's bigs, if you combine the 3 of them and made one player, you might have the best player in the country. There's things that they all do well, but they don't do everything well. Danger is usually the scorer. Now, in this particular game, he got you 8 rebounds. But Musa Cisse, who only played 15 and a half minutes, still, against that smaller front line, he's got to do better than 3 rebounds. I mean, he should be getting balls inside and dunking them on those guys. He should be able to get 8 rebounds in 15 minutes. He did block 4 shots, so I give him credit for that. And then Jourdain, again, who, I mean, bless his heart, the guy hustles his tail off, but he seems to be out of position so many times. He plays just under 20 minutes. He gets 2 rebounds. I mean, he's not small. He's not like a 6-foot guard. Yet you got Haggerty going in there getting 5 rebounds. You got P.J. Carter coming in getting 4 rebounds. It's all about effort. The rebounding is really an issue. And Sunday is going to be a big issue, I think, against UAB. But the turnovers is the one that you scratch your head, Matt, because like you said, they're not being pressed. They're not being pressured. This is just them being lazy, lackadaisical, just making, let's be honest, stupid passes, or the big struggling, getting the ball at the wrong time, putting it on the floor and then traveling, or getting into trouble, picking up their dribble and trying to throw, and they throw into a double team. Penny says that can be fixed, but can it this far along into the season?
Well, it can. I think if you just absolutely stay focused, I didn't think they were mentally focused coming out. I think I can tell usually this team in the first 3 or 4 minutes where they're kind of dialed in and focused. They just weren't. And Musa was an illustration. He got 2 quick fouls, and then the rest of the game, he kind of struggled. He got some rebounds, obviously. I mean, this team is so small they were going against that he'd be able to get rebounds. But, you get back to Jourdain a little bit. He's more of a finesse player, Greg, and I think the thing about him, he's on the perimeter a lot, the way the offense is designed. He doesn't really go down in the block area and get a lot of stuff. He can get some rebounds and putbacks, but he's a guy that plays out on perimeter, and he gets lost at times, I think. He's playing really the 4 position, and he's almost like a 3, to be honest with you. I know he's big, but he's more a finesse guy. His shooting has been really suspect at times. I watch him in a warm-up, and he'll drill threes and everything. I don't know if he gets too hurried up, maybe, but he has not consistently scored. He had a good game at Temple. Obviously, came way back there. He was kind of jacked up and played good there. I thought he, finished in double figures. But, you look at points, he just doesn't get them a lot of times when they need points in droughts. He had 5 points at Charlotte last night. Again, he had 5 points. You need a little more production out of him, and I think he's maybe that one final piece if he can get some production going, because Rogers didn't do anything last night.
No.
And that's one of the problems. If he doesn't score, you got to have another guy step up and do something. And I think, if Dane doesn't, come through, you're going to have to count on Jourdain to get some points for you. He's not a selfish player and doesn't really hunt for points.
Not at all.
That much. And I think it's something that you have to do at that 4 position. You got to go out and hit some shots on a perimeter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With the guys off the bench, we had seen Dante Harris getting more minutes. Last night, he only gets 5.5. P.J. Carter ends up playing like 18 minutes last night. Okogie goes from not playing. He got 5 minutes last night. When this all, I guess, by the time we get into, say, the NCAA tournament or whatever, who do you think is going to get those minutes off the bench?
Well, to be honest with you, it's almost crapshoot. If Okogie plays like he did last night, he can get some of those minutes. But Harris was minus 12 in 5 minutes. So, obviously, I think Coach Hardaway realized this wasn't his night. He got him out. He took one shot that was, really went to the right of the rim, hit the backboard, a 3, and I think he just wasn't in it. He got beat a couple of times on defense. But it's, again, Carter, do you give it to him?
I like Carter.
He had that bank shot he hit. I think it changed the whole game again in the second half. I think he banked that thing in. Yeah. They were down 7. He hit that bank, and it was you don't say lucky, but he hit it. It wasn't a shot he would call, I don't think. But yeah, he just he's got a chance because he's a good shooter, but defensively, I think Okogie is probably a better defender. So it's I think, what do you choose? What do you go in the grab bag and pick out? I think you're going to have to just go with a hunch. I know Coach Hardaway said sometimes it's about a hunch. He puts guys in, and but you got to have the big 3, the 3 guards. When they're playing all well, this team's really hard to beat. And when you get a night like Rogers had with 3 points, 1 of 10 from the field, that really hurts them. And you got to get that production for somewhere else. But again, it's back to handling the basketball, guys. That's the thing that's going to be a real big problem. They did kind of shore the turnovers up in the second half. I thought Wichita got a little tired in that game. I think they, depth-wise, don't have a lot of players, and they got nothing out of their best player last night. Yeah. Xavier Bell didn't even score last night, which is a thing that really hurt him. I'll be honest, if they had played well in the first half, they might have put that game away, and the Tigers might have been too far behind to come back.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the thing that worries you. I think, again, the crowd, 6 o'clock games are funny. People are coming home from work, or they get hung at work and can't get there. And, they get halfway there, and you get started off, and I didn't think it was going to be a lot of people there at first, to be honest with you, but they got the crowd up a little bit. But not a lot of enthusiasm. The crowd was kind of waiting last night for something to happen, it seemed like. And then they got that big bank three in, and they got a steal right after that. And, of course, I felt good then when the Tigers did that. But you can't keep playing, the same hand over and over again. It's like a poker game. You can't play the same cards all the time. You got to do something to win hands, and that's going to be a problem if the mental aspect of it doesn't get corrected. But they've been in practice. They're making them run, doing stuff. I don't know what else you can do, guys. I mean, you try everything. You just kind of hope they go out there and will function. Now, they better function on Sunday. UAB, I know they're, 124 or something like that in the net, but they're starting to play a little bit better.
Yes. Oh, look, I've watched these guys twice, and both times I watched them, I thought they were really good. I'm not looking at that number. That's why Memphis is they're doing the stripe out, they're doing the retro game. They know, Penny Hardaway knows that UAB's good. I don't care about that number. This team has a big front line. They got a possible NBA player. If Memphis comes out of the chute like they did last night, they lose by 20. This is going to be a really good game. But as you said, Matt, you alluded to the mental aspect of things. This Memphis team always seems to rise to the occasion. When there's some adversity, they always seem to bounce back. I expect them to be ready to go, hopefully limit those turnovers. I think we might have a really good game on Sunday. But again, if they come out there fumbling and bumbling and stumbling, they'll lose to UAB.
Yeah, they're going to have to play, Greg. You're entirely right. And of course, they got Lindeborg. What a good player.
Yes,
I mean, he's really coming into his stride right now. But they're a big scoring team, almost 85 a game. You're going to have to play good offensively. They're a great rebounding team, first in the league, 41.3 rebound margins first. Assists, they move the ball. They get 16, almost 17 assists a game, 16.8 average.
Wow.
So they move the basketball, good ratio. They do not give you a lot of chances on the glass. They're number one offensive rebounding team in the league. That front line, as you just alluded to, playing good basketball, and their guard play has settled down. I think that's what one of the problems was for them early in the year. Their guards weren't playing very consistent basketball. So they're a tough team. They're mentally tough. Andy Kennedy, after what happened here last year, he's going to have that team ready to go, and they understand that, UAB does that side of it. This is a big game for us. It's been a rivalry game. One thing I guess changes a little bit when you look at it. These guys are switching teams so much. Right. They kept a lot of guys back at UAB. We got a completely new team almost. So you look around, you say, they're going like, UAB, blah, blah, blah. Now, this rivalry's been tough at times over the years. So, and Kennedy's a tough-nosed basketball coach. He knows this is an opportunity for his team. Now, you got a three-way tie in the league. North Texas plays Florida Atlantic, so we'll get a little distance maybe from some of the teams right now on Sunday. It could be 5-1. Somebody's got it by all alone, or it could be 5-1 with two teams. So we'll see which way the standings come out. Now, you leave here and you go on the road and play a couple. I know sometimes it seems like they play better on the road. I don't know. It's kind of weird. This team sometimes, when they go on the road, I guess they kind of decide that we better put it together a little bit tougher. But people coming after them, guys. I mean, that's something we feared.
Yeah, they didn't play particularly well in Philadelphia, but I get your point. But I think Sunday they're going to be up for it. I don't think we're going to be talking. We may be talking about a loss on Monday, but I don't think we're going to be talking about they just kind of thought you could roll out the ball and just play. No, UAB's good. It's going to be a battle. Of course, Matt will be on the radio broadcast of it with Dave Woloshin. You can check out Matt each and every Friday for the Tiger Basketball Report right here on Sports 56 Mornings. The Professor, Matt Dillon. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Hopefully the Tigers get a win over UAB.
We'll see you on Sunday. Take care.
Tiger Basketball Report brought to you by Colonial Hardware, Napa Cafe, Ben Swinger Glass, and Central Barbecue. We appreciate them. And we, of course, appreciate Matt Dillon joining us every week for the Tiger Basketball Report.
The Jimmy Butler Grizzlies thing won't go away. The latest when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 can pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Classic style meets modern design in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Take your pick from 2025 Jetta Sport or 2024 Volkswagen Taos SE. Get yours for $249 a month. Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike says come get 2024 Tiguan S or 2025 Jetta SE, now $279 a month. Plus all 2024 Atlas SEL Peak Editions, $5,000 off MSRP. So get to Gossett Volkswagen today, 1875 Covington Pike, online, GossettVWMemphis.com. And remember, no reasonable offer will be refused. Gossett's where we're charging forward and charging less every day.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
7,500 miles, Jetta Sport, SMO 45898, MSRP 25416, Taos SE, RMO 56983, MSRP 31939, Tiguan S, RM 144331, MSRP 31363, Jetta SE, SMO 10792, MSRP 28321, Atlas 3500 bonus customer cash, 1500 Gossett discount, excludes tax on the license, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695 with approved credit, well qualified buyer, offer valid through end of the month.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
10 in a row coming up at 9:05. Your chance to win a great prize package. Brandon Lang at 9:25 will handicap the championship games this Sunday. The Jimmy Butler to Memphis story, it just will not go away. The latest here from Brian Windhorst, but first, the comments that were made by, was it Mark Spears, that he spoke to Butler, and Butler said, basically, I'll go anywhere but Memphis. I mean, we already have an inferiority complex with this city. I mean, that just really makes me mad when I hear somebody say something like that. Yes, they could say whatever they want. It's their prerogative. But then you come back with this story the next day about Butler. This is from Windhorst. Quote, the Grizzlies are lurking in Butler trade talk, sources said, and have been in contact with the Heat during the process. Rival league executives believe Memphis is trying to combine a talent influx with offloading some future salary so it can facilitate a contract extension for Jaren Jackson Jr. as early as this summer. Butler, meanwhile, has made it known that he could opt out of his contract this summer and seek free agency. Sources have theorized that if the Grizzlies can acquire him for a playoff run and also free cap space this summer, that's where their interests might lie. We saw Toronto win an NBA title, getting a player that didn't want to play in Toronto, and it's happened before, but with Jimmy Butler, who, if he doesn't like what's going on, doesn't show up in time for team flights, and I don't know. We talked about this yesterday. I thought it was put to bed. I do, look, if this, and Windhorst has good contacts. I don't think this is ever going to happen, but I'll tell you what I like. I like hearing that Zach Kleiman and the front office personnel for the Grizzlies, and it's not surprising, but I like that they're looking into these options because they're thinking the way that I think, and I think most people do, that the Grizzlies are right there. What can get them over the top? Well, a superstar who, if healthy, can really help your team out, that's one way to do so. So they're looking at things. They're not trying to stand pat. I think they feel confident in their team. And I haven't spoken to Kleiman, but I got a feeling he feels really good at where they are. But you're always looking to find maybe that other piece to take you over the top. So in that sense, I like it. I still don't think it'll happen. But what do you think with the latest from Brian Windhorst?
Same as I've always thought. No chance whatsoever. And I think I don't see why you would even do it. I would not. I would not bring Jimmy Butler here at all.
I wouldn't either. But don't you like that your general manager is that active? That they are looking at all these options and all these possibilities?
Yeah, it's been obvious so long here that they're looking to make moves. So yeah, it's not a surprise.
No, but it's a little bit of a surprise to me that they're pursuing Butler.
I mean, again, and I don't. Who knows exactly how much they're doing all this stuff, but I just don't think, as said yesterday, whatever. Like you just don't. Jimmy Butler unhappy in a place is not something you want because he doesn't care.
Right. It could really blow up in your face. But again, I like the fact that they're being proactive. Okay, so the midway point of the season, the NBA and the league has released a list of their top-selling NBA jerseys. So, Elijah, I want you to jump in here with Eli. These are the top 15 selling jerseys the first half of this NBA season, and see if you guys can nail how many you can nail of these 15. Okay, you go back and forth with guesses.
Let's do it.
All right, you start it off. It doesn't have to be in order, obviously. Just give me one of the top 15.
Let's go Stephen Curry.
He's number 1. Did you see this list by any chance?
I glanced at it. I do not remember it completely.
All right. Eli?
LeBron James.
He's number 2. Have you seen the list?
Yes.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Should we even do this now? He is number 9.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum is number 3. These
Victor
cheaters.
Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama is number 5.
Jalen Brunson.
He is number 4. Are you staring at it or you got it memorized?
It's right here.
Yeah, he's looking at it. Forget it. You ruin a good thing. Anthony Edwards is number 6. I'll skip 7. Luka Doncic is number 8. Nikola Jokic is 10th. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 11th. LaMelo Ball 12th. Kevin Durant 13th. Devin Booker 14th. And Donovan Mitchell 15th. John Morant is number 7. John Morant is number 7. So my question for you is, and it doesn't have to be any of these guys on this list. I give you the money. You have to buy a NBA jersey of a current player, not some retro thing from the back, from the past, like Michael Jordan. Whose jersey are you purchasing?
Does it have to be someone who's not on the Memphis Grizzlies?
No, anybody that's currently in the NBA.
Right now, this guy has been one of my favorite players since he played college at Kentucky. I've been wanting his jersey for a while. I'm going with Devin Booker. I would like a Devin Booker jersey.
Devin Booker, who makes the list here at number 14. Eli, who are you going with?
I would probably go Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama at number 5. Certainly a good choice. I don't know who I would go with. Probably Jokic. I'd probably
you like him a lot, don't you?
I do. I mean, you game plan for the Nuggets. You know what Jokic is going to do. He makes you look silly every single game. Every single game. Now, I don't know if he can continue this streak. He's averaging nearly a triple-double, as Eli said. Maybe even averaging a triple-double after last night. I don't know. I haven't looked at his updated stats. He is, okay. So, I was getting I got plus 140 the other day betting a triple-double. Yesterday, I got it for plus 110. Like, why wouldn't you play Jokic? Now, it's going to start to go to some weird numbers where it's not going to be real positive. You're going to have to lay a lot of money, so I'm not going to do that. But I've taken advantage of it. But he's easy as Sunday morning in what he does. Just tremendous. But I would also want, I think, a Des Bane jersey. Des has always been my, of this team right now, the Grizzlies, not all-time Grizzlies, but of right now, Des Bane's my favorite player. Looks like the entire Inside the NBA crew should be together when they move to ESPN next year, according to a report, which I said from day one, when we knew the TNT was losing it, that they were going to go to NBC, that this crew was absolutely going to stay together. There was no way that they wouldn't jump on them, but it doesn't look like it's NBC. It's going to be ESPN. So ESPN knows what they're doing. They have a lot of money to go around. Bring in these guys. Again, nothing official yet, but it looks like that crew will stay intact. I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, and that is Dinstall's. Dinstall's fine candies and chocolates. They've been making them for over 122 years. Valentine's Day is only 3 weeks away. It's time to place your order for those chocolate-covered strawberries at Dinstall's. There's nothing like it. You can call or you can stop by one of the 5 locations. Don't forget your sweet treats for watching the games, the championship games this Sunday. The Super Bowl will be coming up in a few weeks, or the big game, I think they want us to say. And there's also a lot of other sporting events in between. So take advantage of Valentine's Day and any day at Dinstall's. You can have these great chocolates and candy shipped anywhere in the country. They're located in Germantown, in Collierville, downtown Memphis, in Laurelwood, that's in East Memphis, and Pleasant View, where they make the candies. Dinstall's. Fine candies and chocolates, been putting smiles on faces for 122 years and counting. When we come back, hour 3, we open up with 10 in a row. Don't get shut out. Jump on the phone lines at 901-360-8255, the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. If you've won in the last month, you are not eligible. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Shack and the Lowe's parking lot on Summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Park across from the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwood. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, even beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood's even has a real coffee bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now in 2 locations and open every day for you.
New year, new savings during the Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat Start Something New sales event on the pike. We got it covered in 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L Series 3, $23,156 off MSRP and 0% for 36, or 3.9 for 72 months is available. 2023 Jeep Renegade Upland 4-wheel drive Sport, $309 a month. Buy it for $23,723. And power up in 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, $13,758 off MSRP or $629 a month. Plus all 2023 models, you can save up to $16,906 off. So drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
145, 331, MSRP 123,155, Renegade Triple P 57,256, MSRP 31,095, Ram SN 544,525, MSRP 56,825, includes all rebates and incentives and excludes TF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo, and if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their product. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church downtown Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Finishing up a couple of wrecks we had out here earlier. There's still some volume coming down I-40 over here from Germantown Parkway to Sycamore View Road, inbound on 385 Billmore. Parkway's gotten a little bit heavier in the last 15, 20 minutes. Still looks good for the most part on 55 up through South Haven, all the way in up through South Memphis there at Brooks and Elvis Presley. Make a difference by adopting a pet at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Check out their animals that are available for adoption by logging on to memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5.
Final hour for us this week here on Sports 56 Mornings, 9:05 the time. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. The floor model sale continues at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 27 degrees. We'll get up to 39 today. That's it. Sunshine. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 30. And then for your Saturday, warmer, 54 degrees. It won't feel too bad. Mostly sunshine with an overnight low of 40 degrees. Jenkins Floors and More, third-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. They're located at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Just a little beat from anywhere in the metropolitan Memphis area to get down to Horn Lake or up to Horn Lake, wherever you're coming from. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. These guys are really good at what they do. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, ceramic and porcelain tiles, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, plantation shutters and blinds, all different styles and colors of granite and porcelain, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, hardwoods by Portercraft. Great material, top of the line, and you get it wholesale. You can't beat it. So again, if you're a contractor, a do-it-yourself homeowner, you're looking to put in some carpeting, some flooring, or whatever it is, get your material from Jenkins. It makes a lot of sense. But Jenkins also could do the job for you. If you can't do it yourself, call Jenkins. They'll get the job done in an unheard of 2-week turnaround. They'll come to you. They'll give you a free estimate no matter where you are. So why wouldn't you look at Jenkins if you're looking for flooring or carpeting or any of the other stuff I just talked about? Great people. Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins, they have teams of workers there that will get the job done for you and, again, do it at a very reasonable price. They offer financing. So, again, if you think you can't afford it, you definitely can afford it with Jenkins Floors and More. You can call them at 662-469-9350 or, again, stop by and see them at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Let them come out and give you that free estimate. All military and first responders, 10% off. Sports 56 listeners, ask about your family discount. Great family, terrific service. It's Jenkins Floors and More. Go see them or call them today. Time now for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation. It is 10 in a row. You can jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now at 901-360-8255 if you'd like to participate. It's brought to you each and every week by Napa Cafe.
That's right, Napa Cafe, which now in its 27th year in business. And if you're doing that in the restaurant business, you know they've been producing great food and doing things the right way. And Glenda Hastings and her crew do exactly that. You can go to napacafe.com to check out the wonderful menu that they've got over at Napa Cafe. The entire menu is available for curbside pickup as well. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. You can also make reservations on the website. They're at 5101 Sanderland. Whether it be celebrating with a crowd, an intimate evening out, just going to have a drink and an appetizer for happy hour, whatever it is. The folks at Napa Cafe will take good care of you, and you're going to love the food and the atmosphere. 5 dining rooms, including the private wine cellar, which is great for any special occasion you're looking to celebrate. Go see the folks at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderland.
All right, what prize package are we offering today?
We've got a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe. Also $25 to Elwood's Shack. $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, and a couple of Malco movie passes.
Wow. Quite the prize package. 360-8255. I think it's going to be a fairly easy question, well, at least easy to look up. So you probably want to jump on those Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now at 901-360-8255. Here's the question. Schools that have won a football and a men's basketball national championship. Doesn't have to be, of course, in the same season. In their history, schools that have won a national championship in football and men's basketball. 360-8255, 901-360-8255.
All right. Dan is going to lead us off. You can get in line behind Dan. Again, 360-8255, playing for a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe, $25 to Elwood's Shack, $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, and a couple of Malco movie passes. Dan, what's up?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys.
All right, here we go. Schools that have won a football and a men's basketball national championship. LSU.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. Schools that have won both a football and a men's basketball national championship. Who's next?
CD. What's up, CD?
Hey, CD.
Hello, guys.
Baylor.
No.
Illinois.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Clemson.
No.
Syracuse.
No.
360-8255. Who's next?
Anthony's next. Hey, Anthony.
Hello, Anthony.
How's it going?
Good. Schools that have won a football and a men's basketball national championship. LSU.
No.
Kentucky.
No.
Cal.
No.
360-8255. Couple of open lines. Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. Schools that have won a football and a men's basketball national championship.
Next up is Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Baylor.
No.
Illinois.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Clemson.
No.
Syracuse.
No.
360-8255 is the number. Schools that have won a football, men's basketball national championship. I'll tell you this, there have been 10 of them. 10 schools have won both.
KC, what's up?
What's up, KC?
What's happening?
LSU.
No.
Kentucky.
No.
Cal.
Yes.
UCLA.
No.
360-8255 is the number. Still looking for a winner today in 10 in a row.
Next up is JoJo. Hey, JoJo.
JoJo.
What's up, fellas?
How are you? All right, schools that have won a football and a men's basketball national championship. Baylor.
Yes.
360-8255. Wow, I thought we'd have a winner by now.
Mario's next. Hey, Mario.
Mario, how are you?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
LSU.
No.
Kentucky.
No.
Cal.
Yes.
UCLA.
No.
360-8255. Next.
Next is Gene. Hey, Gene.
Gene.
Good morning.
Good morning. Baylor.
No.
Illinois.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Clemson.
No.
Syracuse.
Yes.
Nebraska.
No.
Florida.
Yes.
Maryland.
No.
360-8255. Next.
Sean is next. Hey, Sean.
Sean.
Hey, fella, let's do it.
LSU.
No.
Kentucky.
No.
Cal.
Yes.
UCLA.
Yes.
Indiana.
No.
Notre Dame.
No.
Arkansas.
Yes.
Michigan.
Yes.
Penn State.
No.
Southern Cal.
No.
Winner! You weren't sure about that last one, but you nailed it.
Sean, congratulations. You are a winner. Hold on, and Elijah will let you know how to get your
Hey,
prizes.
hey, can I do something right quick?
Yes.
All right, if somebody hanging on the line, I'm gonna pass it to the next caller. Is that cool?
You're going to pass the prizes to the next caller?
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that? Paying it forward. All right. We'll do that.
Wow, Sean, that's
right.
okay. That's a first in 10 in a row history.
All right.
So does that mean
Carl will get the
is
prizes.
going to get the prize package? Let's bring on Carl.
Thanks, Sean.
Pump up Carl. Carl there.
Carl, you're a winner without
Man.
doing anything.
Man, thanks, man. It'll work.
How about that? Congratulations. We'll put you on hold. Elijah will get your information. Carl winner via Sean.
How about that?
That was so nice. All right. So, Eli, I'll give you the rest of the second list here. I'll give you them all. Baylor.
No.
Illinois.
No.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Clemson.
No.
Syracuse.
Yes.
Nebraska.
No.
Florida.
Yes.
Maryland.
Yes.
Stanford.
No.
That's a yes. Michigan State.
Yes.
That is a yes. There you go. There's only 10 of them. Maryland being one of them. Was I shocked? Well, I already knew that they had won both. But yes, to just see Maryland on that short list, yeah, it's a little bit shocking.
So yesterday we had somebody text in. We were talking about the NFL MVP award. And they'd asked about whether Derrick Henry won the MVP award when he ran for 2,000 yards. And he did not. So I was looking at this yesterday. This was interesting. So before Saquon Barkley this year, 8 guys ran for 2,000 yards in a season. Half of them won the MVP award. O.J. Simpson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, and Adrian Peterson. The other 4 did not.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing is, and I mentioned that Saquon I would assume will probably win Offensive Player of the Year. Of the previous 8 guys who ran for 2,000 yards, 7 of the 8 won the Offensive Player of the Year award. The only one that didn't, the guy who holds the record, Eric Dickerson, did not win the Offensive Player of the Year award. The other 7 all did.
Who won it that year?
Dan Marino.
Oh, that was the year he had like 1 trillion touchdown passes.
I mean, it's like, the other thing I did not realize as I was looking at this, and Dickerson that year actually finished second in MVP and second in Offensive Player of the Year.
What year was that?
84.
84.
Dickerson also that year, and he had 14 fumbles. He led the league in fumbles as well. And then I started really looking Eric Dickerson fumbled a lot.
I didn't know that. I loved watching Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson, his first 4 years in the league, 13 fumbles, 14 fumbles, 10 fumbles, 12 fumbles.
Dan Marino that year threw 48 touchdowns, threw for 5,084 yards, had a quarterback rating of 108.9, did throw 17 picks, and was sacked 13 times.
Dickerson, the 14 fumbles that he had, the next most by one of the 2,000-yard rushers was Jamal Lewis with 8.
Interesting.
But like Barry Sanders had 3, Terrell Davis 2, Chris Johnson 3, Adrian Peterson 4, Derrick Henry 3. Saquon's only got 2 this year. Like Eric Dickerson,
he coughed it up
I
a lot.
had no idea. Used to fumble the ball quite often.
Well, when we were talking about that text yesterday, and I looked up running backs winning the MVP, there had not been a running back since 2012. Barkley obviously would break that streak. I don't think he'll win it. I think it'll be Josh Allen. But that's a long time. Does that coincide with the drop off of the running backs? I mean, obviously there's still been really good seasons for running backs since 2012. It wasn't like it completely disappeared and then Barkley had a great year this year. But
Derrick Henry just ran for 2,000 yards 4 years ago.
Right. But my point is it was so de-emphasized, the running back, that maybe it also affected the way people voted for running backs. Now, the quarterbacks and their numbers continued to climb because of the game over these years changing from a run-oriented game to a passing game.
It's just become much more of a passing game,
Yes.
and the quarterbacks, it's generally now a quarterback award.
What was the leading passer this year yardage-wise? Do you know?
I do not know.
Elijah, can you find that out? I'm just curious because I gave you the Marino numbers from '84 when he threw for 5,000 yards. And again, that was during a run-oriented era of football. But Marino came from Pittsburgh and started
Burrow
wheeling
threw
and
for
dealing.
4,918.
Okay, so it was less than what Marino threw for in '84, 40 years ago. That's pretty crazy. That tells you what Marino did. But Marino, obviously, not winning a Super Bowl, certainly damaged some of the resume. Still considered by many a top 10 quarterback. I don't know. I don't know if he is, because he doesn't have that on the resume. It's a glaring absence on his resume. All right. Wanted to go back before we take our next break, and then on the other side, Brandon Lang will join us to handicap the championship games on Sunday. I was talking about the latest with Windhorst, what he had to say about Jimmy Butler. Evan Sidery from Forbes says, this is nuts. There's a potential 5-team Jimmy Butler trade framework making the rounds today. The Suns get Jimmy Butler. The Bucks get Zach LaVine. The Bulls get Bradley Beal and draft capital. The Heat get Chris Middleton, additional assets and draft capital. And then the facilitator, who we don't know who it is, and they don't even have a guess would be unwanted salaries and draft capital. So I don't know. That's kind of crazy that it would go that deep in the 5 teams. I've heard of 3-team trades, a 5-team trade to facilitate this thing, all because Jimmy Butler don't want to play in Miami anymore. So now the NBA, basically everybody's on alert to make sure that they facilitate something to get it done. It's just absolutely crazy. But it's also crazy to hear that Windhorst thinks there's still this possibility with the Grizzlies. I just don't see that. And then from the world of Major League Baseball, who was it? The Braves picked up Profar.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice pickup, real quiet yesterday. Got him from San Diego. Jerickson Profar. Also, the Cubs, is it official yet? Have they landed Ryan Presley?
No, he's got a no trade clause, so he would have to waive that.
You'd have to waive it? Okay, but I know that they're in pursuit of Presley, but Profar, good pickup for the Padres. From the NFL, we mentioned it's not official yet, I don't believe, but Liam Cohen looks like now, with a change of heart, with Balky out in Jacksonville, will probably get that Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching job. So there's still a few openings, and the word today is that they believe that the Raiders could possibly go with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll did talk to Jerry Jones, according to reports, but the momentum, according to Pro Football Talk, is building for Pete Carroll to possibly land with the Raiders. Robert Saleh, who's been interviewing for head coaching jobs, many believe that he ends up back in San Francisco as their defensive coordinator. Okay, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, you know him, you love him, you can't live without him. Brandon Lang joins us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Fall is football at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Monday through Friday, it's happy hour from 3 to 6. $1 off all draft games, $5 off meal drinks, $4.50 for house wine, and pretzels, mozzarella sticks, queso, $1 today. Friday night lights from 7 o'clock. Dine in and buy 12 Wednesday, 5 and free. Watch college football every pro game. All at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland. Highway 70, fall is football.
It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed. Sponsored by Armstrong Pharmaceuticals.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus on February 12th, you'll pay no application fee. Accredited State University, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for higher learning and work experience. Or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your application fee
You know, I think people forget there's a Central Barbecue location in South Haven.
And that's on us.
Well, you.
What does that mean?
Well, you're the spokesperson for Central Barbecue. It's your responsibility to remind people there's a Central Barbecue in South Haven.
It's very convenient that I'm the spokesperson when there's responsibility to be taken.
Just mention the Central Barbecue location in South Haven.
I got a lot to remember. There's the location on Butler downtown. There's a location on Summer, on Poplar.
And Getwell Road in South Haven. How hard is that?
I've heard you call yourself a spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
No, it was just to pick up chicks.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, a big shout out to Jenkins Floors and More in Horn Lake, the third hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. We'll be joined in just a moment by Brandon Lang. He'll handicap the 2 championship games this Sunday, and then after Sunday, we will know who's playing in the Super Bowl. In the big game, if you will, the Philadelphia Eagles are a 6-point favorite to win the NFC Championship, 6-point favorite over the Washington Commanders. The Commanders have been a pleasant surprise and playing really good football. Obviously, their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, has been on fire. The Bills and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, where the Chiefs are still favored, but the line has dropped to 1.5. The Chiefs a 1.5-point favorite over the Buffalo Bills as they try to march on for a third straight Super Bowl. That's unprecedented. And the Buffalo Bills try to get back to the promised land where they were 4 straight times in the 90s, losing all 4 times.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was watching Deion Dawkins was on SportsCenter yesterday, and they were talking about the Bills fans and all that stuff. I really can't even imagine if they were to win the Super Bowl, what a Buffalo Bills Super Bowl parade could look like.
Oh my gosh.
It could be amazing. Those fans are something. I want to see it. It makes me root for Buffalo just because I would like to see a Bills Super Bowl parade.
Look, Washington's won it before. It's been a long time. They had a different name. The Eagles, they've won it not that long ago. The Chiefs, they won the last 2. But the Buffalo Bills, and nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. They have never won it. So, yes, it would be a great story. It is time to find out who he's going to pick this weekend in the 2 games. It's time to talk to Brandon Lang.
It's time to handicap this week's action. Joining Greg and Eli, a sports handicapper, Brandon Lang, subject of the movie 2 for the Money.
I mean, I was absolutely nauseous and ready to literally talk to the TV, track him down with that yellow wiffle bat, just putting the beat on.
Get Brandon's plays at BrandonLang.com.
Yeah, Nicholson, super big. You talked about that ball. You're really on that ball. Who's going to do that? Super Pin McCaffrey?
Also listen to Brandon's betting analysis on the Believe Podcast Network.
Not going to last very long in the NFL. What people say, he will be out of the league for 3 years. I guarantee if you heard it here first, he will be gone. I don't know what his dad does for a living, but whatever his dad does, he'll go in the family. But
now, here's Brandon with Greg and Eli.
The website is BrandonLang.com. The podcast is 2 for Your Money. That can be heard on the Believe Podcast Network. The TV show is called Cappers. It's going to air on Pluto Network. He is the one and only Brandon Lang. Mr. Lang, B. Lang, how are you today?
So much to talk about, so much to break down, so many angles. But let's do a little recap, shall we? First of all, there were 4 games last weekend. Why would the NFL, unless they're just sick in the head, demented, which we know they are, and Goodell is just behind that perfect demeanor as a psycho. You could assign Clay Martin to any one of the 4 games. Why are you going to bring drama and assign him to a game where the team he's covering is 5-0 with him as the referee? And they're now 6-0. That's the Chiefs. And there were missed calls, there were critical calls, there were suspicious calls. Why bring all that into play when you could have put him in Detroit? And your listeners are probably going, Well, I wonder how he got assigned to that game. Officials are graded on a point system, courtesy of the B. Lang conversation with Bill Vinovich for 3 hours on a plane flight, a sports handicapper and a gambler next to an NFL referee. How do you like those apples? I just told him I'm a football fan, and it's the greatest story known to mankind. It really is, because when he sat down in first class next to me, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm next to an NFL referee. Have you lost your mind? And so what I did was, when you meet someone famous, this goes for anybody, if you can drop a name that can connect you to them that you both know, 100% of the time the guard is going to come down. But if you're going to throw that name out there, you better validate it like you really know him. You can't just say, oh, yeah, I know Bill Johnson. Oh, that's great. You got to connect it. And when I told him I knew Terry Collins, because he lived in Houston at the time, and Terry was manager of the Astros. When I said I knew Terry Collins, he goes, how do you know Terry? Like, he wanted to know. And I said, well, my high school baseball coach is married to Terry's sister. Terry's known me since I was 12 years old. I was like, oh, that's how yeah, he's married to Terry's sister, Connie. The guard came down. It just came down, and we spoke for 2 hours about the NFL. So I said, how do you get Super Bowls? He goes, every penalty you call in the NFL is reviewed on Monday, and you are graded on whether it was the right call, wrong call, and you're graded on calls that you missed. You get a point. At the end of the season, they add up the points. The crew, each back judge, line judge, each guy who has the least amount of points or least missed calls, right calls, gets the Super Bowl. Then it falls down to the next tier, get the playoffs and blah, 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 wild card round, divisional round, and that's how you get the playoffs. So you could have assigned Clay Martin to any one of the 4 games, and there were critical calls. And now, here's the biggie. NFL playoff history. The team that rushed for more yards, passed for more yards, had more total yards, and did not turn the ball over, 49-0 in the NFL playoffs. In the history, 49-0. Texans more rush yards, more pass yards, more total yards, and they did not turn the ball over. Let's go ahead and make that stat 49-1. So juggle that around in your brain for a minute if you got time.
That's crazy.
And you had some critical, the 3rd and 8. You know, listen, I agree. When he slid down and the two Texans players came over and clipped his head, I agree with that one. But the first one on 3rd and 8, which led to a touchdown, and they pushed him, come on, man. There's an Instagram video of Brady rolling out to the right in a playoff game, or might have been the Super Bowl, rolling out to the regular season game, rolling out to the right, got his head taken off. Helmet came off, he's on the ground. Brady got up, grabbed his helmet, clapped his hands. If that happened to Mahomes, oh, my God, they're in jail. They're in jail right now, 20 years to life. It's unreal. It's unreal. And so, you know, with all that being said, here we are, Buffalo KC rematch. I think if John Harbaugh is sitting in his man cave right now and looking at the TV, I think John's going to go minute 33 to go, 3rd quarter, just cut it to 2. I think I might kick the extra point there. Don't go for 2 until you absolutely need to. We got a whole 4th quarter to go. We're moving the ball. They can't stop us. You know what? Yeah. Just guys kick it. We'll go 21-20. We're going to score again. We got this. Yeah. No, let's go for 2, put it on 2 again, and come down to Mark Andrews. Listen, when Eve made Adam bite the apple, she set the brother up. And he took the hit. Sin came into the world, and then we're all screwed now. But if Harbaugh kicks the extra point, Andrews doesn't bite the apple. He doesn't drop the apple. We're not even talking about the apple. There you go. That's the B-Lang take of last week.
Well, I hated the play call on the first 2-point conversion after they just ran it down their throat. If you are going to go for 2,
oh my God,
I would just ran it some more. But
I swear to Jesus, Elijah Muhammad, Easter Bunny, and Santa Claus, the stuff they convinced themselves to do, these coaches with 2-point conversions. Granted, the first one he was wide open, and Lamar Jackson short-armed the Nerf football in the bedroom when he was 5 years old. I get it. I get it, Lamar. It's hard to really throw that Nerf football. It's also, Lamar, tough to hold on it in the cold weather when nobody's even hitting you. So, pretty good, Lamar. Well done. Did B-Lang have the Ravens? Yeah, that was a stinger. Just unbelievable to watch that game and watch Buffalo win that game. And so now here we are in the next round. And here's what scares me. about the Buffalo game. Okay? They faced 4 playoff teams on the road this year. Baltimore beat them 35-10. Texans beat them 23-20. Rams beat them 44-42. They beat the Lions but gave up 42. And the Ravens went up and down the field on them. But in those 4 road games, they were 1-3 straight up, 0-4 against the spread. So it makes you take a step back and go, God, you want to take him. You really do. You just want to take him, and you want to sail off into the sunset. You want to believe that him and McDermott are not going to freeze. Here's what scares me about the game. If the Bills give up 21 points or more in the NFL playoffs, not even the NFL playoffs, if they give up 21 points or more in any game, they're 3-17-1 against the spread the past 2 years, which is the worst mark of any team in the NFL. So the question is, can their defense hold Patrick Mahomes to less than 21? I don't know. I don't think they can, guys. I don't think they can. As much as we want to buy into it, the Texans' defense was a top 10 defense, and they played like a top 10 defense. The Bills aren't. The Bills just aren't. And as much as I'm sitting here trying to convince myself that Buffalo's the right side of the game, I don't know if I can trust a defense that gave up 42 and 44 points in regular season games on the road. That scares the crap out of me. It's just, I don't know who I'm picking yet. I don't. I've lost more sleep over this frickin' game than any game because I'm still in therapy. I'm still in deep therapy with my therapist over losing a game with 13 seconds to go. And listen, not only losing the game, I was plus 3.5. Just kick the field goal in OT, I cover. But no, let's give up a field goal with 13 seconds to go and then allow them to score a touchdown and lose by 6 and not cover the 3.5. It hurts. It hurts to talk about. I've been in so much therapy. My therapist is just, Brandon, you got to let go. I can't. Feel I can't.
I didn't realize because I actually love Buffalo in this game, but now you've just changed my mind a little bit.
Listen, they should have beat them. They should have beat them twice of those 3 games they lost in the playoffs. And for whatever reason, they just can't beat them. And so when you get to this level, seriously, when you get to this level, it's very rare, and historically speaking, it's very rare that the team with the better defense doesn't win. Unless their offense turns the ball over 3 or 4 times and their defense just can't do anything. Sure. But if it's a clean game, the Chiefs haven't turned the ball over in 9 games. Buffalo hadn't turned the ball over, so this is going to be a clean game. So my first question to you is, who has the better defense?
Kansas City.
Kansas City, and Chris Jones is healthy, and he's going to get after Josh Allen.
It's not even close. Casey's got the better defense. So with that being said, now it comes down to Mahomes and Allen. Does Buffalo have a better offense? Yeah, but they're on the road. Look what they've done. Look what their defense done on the road. Stafford put up 44. Goff put up 42. It was they couldn't stop anybody. Ravens put up 35 and did whatever they wanted. Last week, the Ravens went up and down the field. 4 possessions in the second half. They would have scored 4 touchdowns, and Andrews drops the one for the fumble.
So should you take the over?
I mean, I think both games go over, even though I don't love it. I'm taking Philly. It's been an unbelievable run for the Commanders.
All right, before we talk about that game, you know what it should come down to? Not Allen versus Mahomes, who you think's better or not. It should come down to who the officiating crew is. You just went through that whole thing. Is that guy back for another game?
No, you don't get another thing. You only get one playoff game.
Okay. So you don't have to worry about that, but you still have to worry about Kansas City. Look, Patrick Mahomes is a freak. He's great. He's one of the all-time greats. He's also getting the benefit of the whistle. The Chiefs are at home. They're the 2-time defending champions. I'm not about to bet against the Chiefs. They may lose, and the streak finally ends. But I'm not betting against a team that has won everything and is looking to be the first ever to win 3 in a row. How can I bet against them? I think Kansas City's the play.
Well, it's the play based on the validity of what I just showed you with Buffalo on the road. Listen,
Yes.
there's no getting past just how good that team is in that stadium. Baltimore had them. Let's make sure we're perfectly clear on this. The Buffalo Bills did not beat the Baltimore Ravens last week. They lost. They lost. But the Ravens beat themselves. I came on your show last week, and this is exactly what I said. If you go to the tape, I said this. You don't beat the Ravens. You don't. They beat themselves. If you look at every game they lose, they turned it over and beat themselves, which is why Lamar said after the game, we have to stop doing this. You look back in the regular season, you can't give away a home game against the Raiders. You can't give away a home game against the Browns. Those two losses in giveaway games that you think are nothing back in Week 3 and Week 6. Now you're playing Buffalo and Baltimore. Big difference than having to go up to that stadium because that stadium is an absolute beast to play in. And Josh is unbelievable in that stadium. But if you have a consistency of going on the road and playing poorly, which they have all year long, look at their road wins. Look at their road wins. Okay, Indianapolis, Seattle, the Jets, and Miami, who they beat 11 to 12 times. Quality teams on the road. Listen, all four defenses have not played well. I'm going to give you a stat right now that's going to absolutely blow you away. And it really is. I used it on ESPN Louisville. All four teams in the NFL championship round of the playoffs have surrendered more yards than they have gained against fellow playoff teams this season.
Wow.
All four teams playing Sunday were outgained last week. So it comes down to which defense plays the best because all four of these defenses did not play well last week. Stafford went up and down the field. Commanders went up and down the field. Buffalo Ravens went up and down the field. Detroit went up and down. I mean, look at every game. Texans outgained them across the board. So it's an interesting game. But as far as Buffalo's concerned and Philly's concerned, I'm almost inclined to take Buffalo first half +1. And then sit back and watch the nonsense that's going to happen in the second half because I can assure you are going to have nonsense between those two teams like you always do in the second half. It's every stinking game that they play comes down to the second half and craziness in the fourth quarter where you're like, one year they scored 24 in the fourth quarter. That was the 13. One year they scored 21 or 24 in the fourth quarter. Then the other year Josh scored late and they went down 13 seconds. So I'm inclined to just take Buffalo first half and enjoy the second half. And as far as Philly is concerned, the bad number with Washington here is in the NFL divisional round, teams that, collectively that won in the divisional round, 6-0 straight up and against the spread. We're 0-5 straight up, 1-4 against the spread in the championship games. And you have a Washington team playing their fifth straight road game. Philly's playing their fourth straight home game. And I just think it's too much. Everybody wants to say that Washington beat them 36-33 in the game, that Jalen Hurts got concussed in the first quarter. I don't know if you remember watching that game. I was watching that game at Buffalo Wild Wings, and Devontae Smith dropped a pass on third down. It was ungodly, right in his hands. He didn't have to reach back, didn't have to reach forward. He just dropped it. And they run out the clock, and they don't win that game. They were up by 2 scores in the first meeting and gave up a backdoor touchdown with 27 seconds to go. It's just too much to ask in this situation for this kid to go on the road, for this team being a losing team. They caught a break in Baker Mayfield fumbling. They caught a break with Aaron Glenn having 2 weeks to prepare, and he wasn't ready for the no-huddle offense. Now here you are, the Jets, and Woody Wilson or whatever the hell that's the owner's name of
Woody Johnson,
whatever his name is. But I just want to real quickly say so. Yeah, okay. So Woody Woodpecker sitting at home last Saturday night. He's in his big man cave. He's like, all right, I'm looking for a head coach. And here's Aaron Glenn with 2 weeks to prepare, but defense just held Sam Darnold to 9 points and 2 goal line stands against the Vikings. And you're like, this is my guy, 2 weeks to prepare. Here we go. Defense got a little healthier. Defense got rested. And I watched him allow a rookie quarterback to put up 45 and go up and down the field. That's my guy! That's my guy! I want him! That's my guy!
Yeah, believe me, I had some debates on social media about that whole thing, but that's another story.
That's Ben Johnson, different story. You know, walked into the complex in Chicago, said, I wanted to be here. You know, Ben's offense did what it did. Watching Aaron Glenn throw up on himself last week, not being ready to the no-huddle, not knowing how to adjust, that was atrocious. And now you're going to put that guy in charge in New York. Good luck. Good luck, Jets fans. So, quick stat for you. Teams in the championship round who managed to rush the ball for 165 or more are 11-1 straight up against the spread since 1988. I think they're going to stack the box and try to stop Barkley. My lean is towards Philly and Washington over, but I like Philly in the game. I get it. Great run for Washington, seriously. But this is a different beast altogether, and I think it comes to an end. The other game, I don't know, but I'm going to lay the wood with Philly.
The paddle has got to be like worn out. You're going to need a new paddle here soon.
Bro, I can't walk, bro. When we come down in the studio on my birthday, you know, you're going to look at her. She's got a little grin on her face. Hi, guys. You've been talking about me for 2 years. Nice to meet you.
As long as we don't get hit with it.
What did you think of the national championship game?
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. Because I get judged on the play I put on the website. I had a great college year. I had my worst NFL year. Let's just call it like it is. I had a great college football season, a horrible NFL season on the website, and I had Minnesota first half over Virginia Tech. I had Ohio State first half over Texas. You text me AI with the screen pass that got it done, and so for the championship game, I was going to go with Ohio State first half, and the powers that be on the website said it's a championship game. We really don't want you to do a first half play, and I have a couple partners on the website, and I'm like, okay, I'll take Notre Dame plus the points. And I'm watching the game with my wife, and when he missed the field goal, I said, that's it. It's going to fall on 11 rather than 8. She goes, how can you say that? There's still whatever. I go, babe, just watch it play out. I said, it falls on 11, not 8 now. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And then it's 3rd and 11. It's the same exact thing as Boise State and Penn State. You know, Boise State needs one stop to get the ball back in cover, and they give away a 4-yard run on 3rd and 7. And I saw it coming. 3rd and 11. I looked down. I go, oh, boy. I go, it would be just like Ryan Day to throw it here. She goes, what? I go, it would be just like him to throw it here. No, don't do it. I want to reach through the TV and knock it down. You saw it coming. You know, Super Bowl. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Green Bay's got a 3rd and 11 with 5 minutes to go. Up 3. Line's 3.5. They're on their own 19-yard line. They throw a slant to Jennings, catches it at the 31 for a first down. Ike Taylor, Palomalo come up to make the tackle. They don't. He slips through, runs it up to the 42. Next play, McCarthy runs a screen pass. It goes down to the Pittsburgh 38. Clock's at 3:44 to go. Another first down. What happens? Covering field goal with 29 seconds to go. Green Bay wins by 6. Ouch. Still hurts. Michigan, Ohio State. 2 years ago. Last year, national championship. Ohio State's down 3. I got them plus 3.5. It's 3rd and 11 on the Michigan 20-yard line. Offensive pass interference penalty not called. Michigan picks up the first down, goes on a 6-minute drive covering field goal, 28 seconds to go. Happens. Just take it like a man.
The national championship game or Michigan, Ohio State?
No, Michigan, Ohio State, regular season.
Okay,
mine was 3.5. I had Ohio State plus 3.5. There's 7 minutes to go in the game.
You got to let it go, Brandon. I'll be your psychologist. You got to let it go. You have every play and the time on the clock still memorized from your bad beats over the years.
I'm a sick man. I'm a sick man. Yeah, listen. I won last night with Cal. Cal Davis -1 over Hawaii, and I got a bucket with 32 seconds to go, and Hawaii misses 2 bunnies to win by 2, cover the 1. So I remember the good beats. I was a bit of a smile on my face.
Good.
All right, I had Louisville 2 nights ago over SMU plus 1.5. They're up 25 at the half, won by 20. So yeah, I remember those good ones. But the bad beats that you want time, you want down, you want distance. Yeah, I'm a sick individual. My mind is a sick place to live. It's fun though,
and we love having you on, and so do the folks as well. Brandon Lang, enjoy those games on Sunday. We'll talk about it next Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
The Pete Carroll apparently is official now.
It's official. Wow.
Going to the Raiders.
So the AFC West the AFC West. You have Pete Carroll, Super Bowl champion, Andy Reid, Super Bowl champion, obviously multiple, Sean Payton, Super Bowl champion, Jim Harbaugh, Super Bowl runner-up. Pretty impressive.
And Harbaugh and Carroll both have college championships.
And that's impressive. That is impressive. Wow. So that rumor was out there. I brought it up earlier. I know that, according to reports, Jerry Jones had spoken to Pete Carroll. So that is Tom Brady with Mark Davis, obviously, making that decision to bring in Pete Carroll. How about that? All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, wrap things up for this week here on Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Hey, folks, no time to wait. It's here, the 36th annual January sale going on now at Sunrise Buick GMC in Wolf Case. Didn't get what you wanted for the holidays? That's okay. Now's the time to take care of you. Are you 100% happy with your holiday? Now's the time to get you. Huge rebates, big discounts, low interest rates, and Sunrise divorce, low pages, no credit. It's all okay at Sunrise.
This hour brought to you by James Flores and once again, Greg Gaston.
So you have Aaron Glenn takes over the Jets. Mike Vrabel takes over the Patriots. Liam Cohen will take over the Jaguars. Ben Johnson, the Bears. Pete Carroll now will take over the Raiders. So the two openings that remain, the Saints and the Cowboys. The Saints, will they hire Mike McCarthy? Cowboys, I have no idea. Will it be Schottenheimer? Will it be Kellen Moore? Will it be Jason Witten?
See, the thing is, like, and people would point out, if the Cowboys, with what apparently Jerry would like to do with Jason Witten, Pete Carroll actually would have made sense for the Cowboys. You bring him in, bring Witten underneath him, and then figure Carroll's not going to do it that much longer at his age. one of these younger guys, you bring them in, you bring Witten in underneath him, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But again, it's Jerry Jones. Trying to figure out what he's going to do or anything is a difficult task to try and ask of anybody. John Morant is now listed as questionable tonight.
There you go.
With an illness. So he joins Santi with the illness questionables. So
it was coming. He's not playing back-to-back games. Something was happening. Whether he's sick or not, I don't know. He's probably, since he's on the list, he won't play tonight. Mark it down. And then he'll be ready to go tomorrow night. Because they have to turn around and play the Knicks on Monday. There's three out. You got to have them for Monday. You got the Pelicans tonight. You have the Jazz tomorrow. Again, the Grizzlies destroy bad teams, especially bad teams from the East. These are from the West, but they should be able to take care of business. They are a 10.5-point favorite tonight to beat the Pelicans. The total is 244.5. No Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson is stealing money from the Pelicans. I mean, stealing money. And then you have Brandon Ingram, who's out as well. C.J. McCollum tonight, he'll play. C.J. will score 30, maybe 35. And the Grizzlies will win by 20. Kenny Atkinson will coach the East now. It's official. The Cavaliers head coach will coach the East in the All-Star game.
He'll coach one of the teams.
Oh, that's right. They still do that cockamamie crap.
They don't still do it. They are doing a new thing this year. This is the first year.
Well, they still do something that's not the traditional East versus West, which players have already come out and said they wish that they would go back to that, which I wish as well. But at least they actually play basketball. They don't play defense. They play some kind of game. It's a lot better than what we'll see next weekend with the Pro Bowl and all the days leading up to the big flag football game. Can't wait for that. Great stuff. And then all the other stuff that coincides with the Pro Bowl game.
Those are Thursday night.
The game itself is when? Sunday. So Thursday night, do they have activities as well on Friday and Saturday? They do, right?
Not, I think maybe it might be 2 days worth of the games, and then the flag football game is on Sunday.
Yeah, why would they have like stuff on Thursday and skip 2 days? Those guys are down there, and then let's say, go to the beach or whatever. Where's it at again? Orlando?
Orlando.
Yeah, well, beach, they'd have to drive a little bit, but sunshine. Hopefully not that cold weather that they had last couple of days this week in New Orleans, which was crazy. That's going to do it for us today. I want to thank you folks for listening. Your calls, your texts, we appreciate it. Thanks to our guests, John Varlas, Ken Wisenhunt, Matt Dillon, and Brandon Lang. Again, if you missed any of our great interviews this week, you can listen to the podcast from previous days. It's all for you on the website, sportsmemphis.com. Just go to the website and check out Sports 56 Mornings. We break it down hourly. That's the same for all the shows. And again, some of our guests from our show and other shows will also be under featured audio, make it real easy for you, including our interview the other day with the Titans long snapper Morgan Cox out of the University of Tennessee. Coming up next, Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, so stay tuned for that. For Eli Savoy, for Elijah Seegers, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you bright and early Monday morning at 7 a.m.